very special.
No. Now we're live.
Now we're
going.
Hello and welcome to this very special episode of Roast Google Dinner. I'm not your host, James Eatock. With me, or under me, or above me, we've got Joe Amato. He's the one with the Moduloc mask, the man of mystery. We don't know what he looks like. We got Tyler, whose arms are bigger than most people's legs, the thighs. Just seen that man.
I just love this introduction here. This is just really.
I'm winging it. I'm really trying. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And we've got Nathan Kennedy, who I don't think I've actually spoke to ever until today. I might be right about that.
Yeah, you are correct.
He's there. Yeah, he's there, but he's not doing his.
I'm here, but then I won't be here until later.
Right. He's gonna do the old Thanos. And
yep. I'm here in spirit.
There we go.
I'm fading away right now, but James, it's nice to actually speak with you.
Yeah, you too, man. So I shall hand over to the proper host of Fans of Power, Joe and Tyler. Go for it.
Well, James, again, thank you for joining us. We always love having you on. And, of course, we got a lot of people who popped up in the chat room. We'll probably be watching and having a lot of questions for you later, too. And as we do at the beginning of the show, we always introduce them before we start firing it up. We have Febmon, Zentron. We got Grimbot, Willis Wheeler, Zen Brown. I want to see, because half the time, Descendants of Grayskull, Spike's here. And that might be okay. And I think that's everybody so far. If I missed anybody, I apologize. But yes, we have a lot of different topics today that we're going to want to discuss. Obviously, we're going to want to know the progress on the return of Faker. You got some interesting stuff about He-Man and the Masters of Space. You might have some photos or some pictures or some cells and stuff that we've never seen before. And, of course, we'll have a commentary. But before we get to all that, Tyler, I'll pass it to you if you want to say something to James, too.
I'm just thankful to have James back, and he's agreed to do a commentary for an episode he's already on, and not have to do a commentary with him, because I just feel like that needs to be like the staple when he's on, is that we always have to do commentary, because there's still a whole slew of episodes like I have yet to hear James's verbal on. So just preferably next time we'll pick something that James hasn't done a commentary for, or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think most, like anything season 2 is always a good option. I don't think I've done many or any season 2s. I must have sometime, but yeah.
I think you did Problem with Power and Origin of the Sorceress, didn't you?
Did I? What would that?
Or did you just because I remember you had like a list of like certain episodes from season 2 just uploaded on your channel, but that was about it. And then you know,
I don't know. It's been so long since the old commentary days, but I can't remember really.
Have you ever done a commentary for the Christmas special, James? You ever do commentary for that?
He did that. Yes,
I did, didn't I?
Yes, I have listened to that. Yeah,
channel. Yeah, that's right. I was trying to think. Like, there was definitely something out of I definitely did something She-Ra related, and it was the Christmas special. How did I do that? It was like 40 minutes. My goodness, and it was just me talking for 40 minutes, which I can do. But about the Christmas special.
Yeah, because that's the thing. We know how much you hate it, and I'd love to one time go in depth and wonder why you hate it so much. It's every Christmas, somebody's either doing that or
question it, Joe. I mean,
no, yeah, because we always love digging. That's the thing. That would be a different thing. If there was ever something different on a Christmas special of a podcast for Fans of Power, that would be something. At least it'd be a twist, because we've already covered that Christmas special before, and we've talked about other Christmas-related things. But maybe one time we'd have to really just dig into you and just get all that hate. A lot of the hate that maybe some fans never heard before, because we know you have disdain for a lot of the characters in there, especially the damn Man-Sheens. But
I was going to say, if there's one thing the fandom's good for, it's hatred.
Jesus. But quickly, I did want to say hello to Papa Hood 69, and also I seen somebody right at the top, Determined AZ. But I think the first thing that we might as well discuss, or definitely it's going to be you're doing it, is the progress on the Return of Faker cartoon, about when it's going to be premiering. I think some fans know. For those who don't, you can at least get fill in the details. But that's something a lot of people really want to see.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like I thought, I'll give a big update. And I thought, I wonder how long I'll talk about this for. But I'll probably keep going. So we've been, me and Dusan, Andrew Kramer, and Yuka Azakainen, I don't know how you pronounce it, and Keith Seymour have all been working on it. Primarily me and Dusan and Andrew. And Keith's doing effects, and Yuka's been doing color assists on certain sequences. But Dusan is like, I think I've said it before, he's like a crazy machine, because the man we've got a schedule of like every single piece of animation assigned that we've still yet to do. So since the beginning of the year, I've had this like Google Doc, and it's just all we need this sequence, we need that sequence, we need this sequence. Like, you know, it'll take 3 days to do this. And I give him the schedule, hoping that, I hope he hits these marks and stuff. And I'd say 99.8% of the time he's hit the deadlines. And yeah, it's amazing. We're entering, like, I guess it's the last month of production now in terms of getting the animation together. And the funny thing is, maybe, so let's say at the start of the year, everything was storyboarded except the He-Man and Faker fight. So I had everything done apart from this epic fight. I'm thinking, I knew what I wanted to do, and Dusan and I had kind of like thrown around ideas. But it's one thing having these ideas, and it's like, well, how do I actually stage this? How do I incorporate, Filmation animation? Joe's frozen. Is he still there?
He's there.
Yeah.
I got worried. Joe was just like,
You thought, yeah, that was a still because I look like a piece of paper anyways. It's like, what happened?
I was like, he's stiller than usual. I started to get worried.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it was this idea for the fight, and I think it was maybe at the very start of the year, or maybe over Christmas, I just sat down and just storyboarded this fight, and then kind of put the audio and dialogue together and sent off to Dusan. And he was like, "Oh, that's great." And then I did something in the second part of it that I knew he didn't want to do, but I did it. And he was like, "Oh, I thought we weren't going to do it." And I was like, "If I pay you money, will we do it?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." So like, I genuinely bribed him to do this thing. It's not an awful scene. Like I've showed it to, I'm not going to spoil it, obviously. I've shown it to maybe one or two people that have seen it and gone, "Oh my God, you went there." And I was like, yeah, I totally did. So yeah, there's that. So that was it. And then I think it was about maybe a month or two ago, I already knew how the episode ended. It's like, here's where the episode ends. And then I thought, wouldn't it be cool if we did this as well? Not like a post-Marvel credit scene, but just something like a very kind of ending where people will be like, oh God, so it's, I'd say in Act 2, which is, I think Act 2 is going to be about 20 minutes or something. So it's a 30-minute episode, which is like way too long, but it's a case of, we ain't cutting anything. Yeah, we got Act 2, and I think Act 2 is going to be, roughly about 22, I'd say about 20 minutes. And it starts off, I think anybody watching this is just going to think it's quite in that, in that style we love, that kind of very paced. Filmation always had a very certain style of pace. So like, the story's going like this, but then if it was like a bar chart or a graph, as it were, it just suddenly goes whoosh, like that. And then the last, I'd say, about 15 minutes of the episode are just non-stop action. It's crazy. It was just, yeah. So
sounds wonderful.
It's going to be. It's the one thing I keep telling you. It sounds so arrogant. I'm like, no. If anybody dislikes this, it's them trying to put. That sounds so arrogant, but just, oh no, I don't like it. It's like, why don't you like it? It's like, because reasons. It's like, no, man, you're kidding yourself. I know that this is really good. Dusan knows it's really good because you're putting so much love into it. It's a case of, it's that thing of, oh yeah, I'm the He-Man She-Ra expert, whatever. But it's a case of that love and that passion, that drive to bring something. Again, we're not going to do a half-assed version of it. I'm not going to suddenly have a scene where, He-Man just does something really dastardly, like gets an axe and cuts Skeletor in half. So there's a spoiler. That doesn't happen. There's no murder of Skeletor in this unexpectedly. And it's that thing of we know what's true to Filmation. It's just bringing that back, but bringing it back at as good as it can be. I mean, the one time, I think it was when I first showed the scene. I know Joe hasn't seen that. I think Joe's like stayed very spoiler free.
Yeah, weird.
But
I've watched everything you've shown already.
Yeah, I can say this, and it's not a spoiler. But the scene where the second scene in the episode where Faker meets the evil warriors.
That's good too.
And yeah, I mean, in that's when I showed that on, I put that on Instagram, and it had all this like amazing feedback. People were like, this is great, this is great. And there was just one guy who just said this, the worst thing he's ever seen, blah, blah, blah. And it's always that one person you just think, why, you mother? And it was just so hate-filled, and everybody started hating on him. So I was like, I just need to block this guy. But he was just clearly, I mean, everybody's got a right to dislike something, of course. But if there's no grounds for it, his reasoning was so stupid. It was just, well, there was no reasoning. He just hated it for the hate's sake. But when I showed Act 1 at PowerCon last year, you know, he had a packed room. I can't remember. There was a few hundred people in there easily. Stood on stage, gave a presentation of like, this is how we've done it, which in itself people marveled about. And at the end, showed all of Act 1, and people just, the rest of the evening, people were just saying the nicest things, got a round of applause. At the end of the showing, there was like about 5 or 6 Filmation guys there, you know, Rob Lamb, Robbie London, Vic Dowchell, Tom Tataranowitz, Ralby Goran, all came up, and they were saying that was fantastic. How? It's like, yeah, you know, yeah, and it was that when you get that kind of seal of approval from the Filmation guys, it's like, yeah, okay, I think we're doing something good here. And obviously it's gutting that like a Lou Scheimer will never get to see it, or even like now, sadly, Larry DeCilio will never get to see it. That really sucks. And it's not like, even if they had still been with us, it's like, oh, look at this. I'm not expecting them to go, this is fantastic. But it's just, it would have been nice for Lou to have seen it.
Oh, hell, they would have given like the greatest seal of approval, both those guys. Especially Lou. I think it would have brought Lou to tears to see someone recreate.
I know. I mean, like, yeah, definitely. I think, yeah, you're probably right in that sense. Like, Lou would have been like, wow, that's like throwing a curse word in or two, and yeah, he would have really liked it. So, but yeah, so the production is we're finishing the animation. I think it's like, what are we in now? May. So early June, we finished all the animation sequences. So that's all done. And then that gives us the rest of June, all of July, and the start of August to what we call shoot the second act, which where Dusan puts all these layers and sequences and backgrounds into this program called, I think it's Magic's Vegas. And then he shoots it. So he times everything to the dialogue and yeah, puts it all together. I mean, we did Act 1 over the space of so many months, actually about a year Act 1 took, but Act 2's been done so much faster, and yet is way more intricate and detailed, and we've been putting in so many Easter eggs and stuff, which I know is a bit of a gimmick sometimes, but you know, in a good way. This will
be premiering at PowerCon though. Is it? Or is it trying to? Or
oh no, again, 99% positive that it will, because I've said we're going to do it, and me and Dusan were talking, I think it was yesterday. I said I think it'll take about like, you know, 45 to 50 days to shoot Act 2. And he's like, oh yeah, probably maybe even quicker. So I think by early August we'll have it done. It'll be a huge file. He'll send it to me. I'll take it to PowerCon. I'll play it at PowerCon, and then this is the thing where there's still things ongoing. Nothing like that sounds like, oh, there's a big surprise coming. There's not, but I'm still hoping between now and, you know, PowerCon and maybe post PowerCon that somehow I can get it recognized. Or all I don't want any money. I don't want any of this. All I want is just someone to go, it's official, and there's a big stamp, and you're like, hey, as opposed to you just upload it on YouTube. Everybody watches it and enjoys it and says, oh, it's so good, it is official. It's like, yeah, but it would really be nice if Universal, DreamWorks, Mattel, whoever owns Hasbro probably these days, who owns He-Man, the cartoon, if they could give it the seal of approval. And I'd love them just to distribute it on something, because I genuinely think that there's enough interest in this from the hardcore fans, from the casual fans, and from people who just like 80s cartoons. If you said, here's a new episode on DVD or on streaming or on demand or whatever, YouTube, put up a trailer, because I've already got a trailer in mind. I think you could sell a good couple of thousand units or something. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, geez, Wow, that sounds like a dog barking. But no, I mean, there's no doubt when that's going to be shown at Powergon. First, I'm going to think, I guarantee people will lose it. So I hope a lot of people are at least somehow video. I don't know if there'll be a lot, but I hope somebody of these videos the crowd, because I want to see some kind of reaction of what people think.
It's funny you say that. We so last year Daniel Benedict filmed every panel. He's the guy that did the Fall of Grayskull film. He filmed for PowerCon every panel, and he filmed my panel where I did the talk about how we've done the Return of Faker, and he also filmed the showing of it. But because I didn't want all of Act 1 just to randomly go online, I said to PowerCon, I said to Val, can we not put that up yet? So there is an edited version of my panel, which I guess I just haven't, and it's kind of my fault. I haven't really pursued it and said to them, oh, we should upload it, but please don't upload the episode yet, or like the Act 1. But I've still got I asked Daniel Benedict, I said, can you send me because obviously when you film something, you get the audio from the mic and you get the background audio from the crowd. So I said, could you send me the camera that's got the audio from the crowd sound? And he did. So I mixed it with the visual mix he did. And so I've got a version of the Return of Faker that I can watch, which has got it's like a audio commentary from the fans. And it's so amazing because I will watch it every once in a while, not like the whole thing and just sit there and be like, I'm so great, but just watch it and just realize, oh my God, this is just Act 1, but people really like it. And most of the people in that room have probably seen the first few scenes from Act 1. So it's not that this is all new, but they're equally enjoying it again. But then when there were a few kind of little moments, especially the not a spoiler, the transformation sequence that occurs in Act 1, because I built that up during the panel. I said, here's how we did it. When I finally showed it in the Return of Faker, people just it got a huge round of applause. And I was like, wow. I mean, you kind of expect that because it's a big transformation on a big screen. But to be in the room and hear that, round of applause and cheers, oh wow, we're doing something good.
That must have been a hell of a feeling. I couldn't even picture.
And there was some unexpected ones. In the following scene, Peeler's in it, and something happens, and the audience just lost. They laughed and clapped, and it was brilliant. I was not expecting that because it was just a throwaway thing that was over the top intentionally. And I put it in there, and people just loved it. And I was like, "Wow, they really like that." So yeah, I honestly think there are two to three scenes in Act 2 that, and it's not a spoiler in terms of if either of you have seen, and I'm not going to spoil this either. If either of you have seen Endgame, or even a lot of those Marvel movies, when those moments that kind of move you to tears of kind of joy and kind of like, oh my God, that kind of, not like, this has happened, I'm crying because this is sad. It's just like you're so overcome with emotion. And I think there are like 2 to 3 scenes. And I think one of them will be the moral segment because it's just so perfect. It's so of Filmation, just so innocent and like, oh. And you hear Linda Gary, who's been dead, God, 95, 05, 15, 24 years. And it's her moral, about this episode. And it's delivered in that beautiful moral way, the head to the camera and everything. And I was just like, when Dusan sent me, because obviously I haven't been on since then, before PowerCon, Dusan sent me Act 1. He's like, here it is, because we would go back and forth. He'd send me a clip, and he's like, is this okay? And I was like, oh, just that. Or 9 times out of 10, Dusan would send me something. I'm like, oh my God, that's even better than what I storyboarded, because he's got that great mind, like a Tom Tataranowitz, where he would just go, oh yeah, I see what you've done here, but let's try this. Oh my God, that's great. That's been the pleasure of working with him. It's just you have ideas, and that's the collaboration between us. It's not me and animator guy. It's me and someone who's going, well, what about this? And why don't we try this? And it's always been a really good collaborative effort. I did this primary storyboard, but he's the one who brings it to life and then offers alternatives. But when he sent me Act 1 just before PowerCon, like obviously I was going over to America, and he said, here it is. I took it, I put it on a memory stick, and I've got like a 50-something inch screen telly over there, and I plugged it in. I sat down, I watched it, and after I think it was about a few minutes into it, I was like, oh my God, I think I'm going to cry, because it was that realization of we've done something, and this was only, like I say, Act 1. It's 10 minutes. It's not going to blow people. I mean, Act 1 is great, but it's not the most exciting bits, if you know what I mean. There's a little bit of action here and there, but it's not.
You're underselling that bit that's been you really, because I actually just rewatched it the other day. Hell, I was at the gym in my workout and re-listen to the first two parts. You learn like, God, this is awesome. Like the sound effects, and it's what's fun too is trying to catch all the dialogue that I recognize from the variety of episodes that you guys have just spliced together. Like, God, this works perfectly from like Merman's dialogue, Beastman's dialogue, what Skeletor says. I mean, and hearing Faker talk, like that's probably my favorite part.
It's so fun with Faker because you just take He-Man dialogue and just try and put it out of context, and with that, you can really create some nasty stuff. And towards the end, like again, no spoilers, but Doosan came up with an idea. And I think he forgot he suggested this idea with regards to Faker. And I was like, let me put this in. And you, Tyler, you will appreciate when you see it, you'll be like, that's from that film. You will totally, and we're not talking about a He-Man movie either, but you will be like, oh my God, that's amazing. And I put it, when I storyboarded it and I put it in, and Doosan was like, oh my, that's perfect, as in exactly how he imagined it. But I think when he suggested it to me, he kind of forgot when I was storyboarding. I thought, put that in because that seems so good. But yeah, like it's one project that I just, things I've been proud of. I've worked on so many He-Man things over the years, been proud of everything. But the ones that are up there are definitely, obviously, the I'm looking at it. That's what I'm looking at. The Dark Horse book, the Animated Adventures Guide. That was like, oh my God, that was the book I'd always wanted to write ever since I first started talking about He-Man on the internet. And then I think this will definitely go above it because this has been a project that's now roughly, I think, 3 years we've been working on this. We showed Acts 1 and 2 at PowerCon in 2017, then the full Act 1 2018. This will be the full thing. It's crazy. It's been and it's so funny because at the end of it, it's like we never went in with any financial gain or anything, but it will be weird when it's like, well, now what do we do? Because you'll finish it, we'll show it at PowerCon, hopefully distribute it however that ends up on YouTube, and then it's like, next. And
that's what I'm going to ask you. Am I getting I feel like I'm getting an echo here when I'm talking. Like, is it?
No. For me, it's just you.
Okay. I kept thinking like I was. Joe, are you getting an echo?
Quickly, just want to let you know, I think that echo pops up when you and I talk on James's ends, and I didn't know if it's because James doesn't have earbuds. Do you possibly have them? Because I think that's what happens. It was when we initialize something to say, it sounds like a dog barking, like arf, arf. And that's why I've been quiet.
Let me. I've got a pair of headphones. Let me go again. Hang on. I've got my earplug.
All right. Just in case everybody was wondering why I was so quiet, because everybody's like, Joe's usually trying to, say something or give a point here, and I was just sitting there real quiet. Yeah. It was happening on both our sides there, Tyler.
Yeah, I was
everybody
worried
noticed
too that if I keep talking, it's going to sound muffled for the audience or something like that, or
very
disruptive.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure if it was all just me. I was going to say I might have. Oh, hold on, let's see. I think he's got some headphones. He's going to do something now. Let's see.
Hello.
Yes,
I can hear you. Can hear.
Okay,
hey, and no echo. There you go.
Good?
All right, James. Perfect.
All right, cool.
Good.
Cool.
I'll have to do it in one ear, otherwise I can't hear my own voice, and not because I love my own voice, it's because then I sounds weird. It's like when you're talking with your fingers in your ears. I'm not really good
now
at this.
I won't feel so bad. Yeah, I was gonna say now I won't feel bad if I feel like I was cutting you off because I was sitting there wanting to say stuff. I was like, every time I talk, it sounds like a dog barking, so I had to just wait and not say nothing. But no, that's the thing about this entire episode. In case, like you said, people wondering, like it took a long time, but it's because there's a lot of stuff you guys were doing. I mean, you're sitting there reanimating everything. You're adding new stuff. You're doing new pieces of animation. Correct? You are doing, I don't know how much, but you're doing at least little bits of new, unique stuff that maybe we've never seen before.
Oh yeah, like that's the funny thing is primarily we've been doing the stock sequences and this, that, and the other, but we've also so much fun. You take sequences from Flash Gordon, Brave Star, and
Tarzan.
You'd have to check Doosan in the chat. I'm not sure we took anything from Tarzan, but
okay.
It's not a big secret because I'll list it in the credits for the thing, but we've taken animation from shows that aren't even Filmation.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I found I was again like about maybe a few weeks ago. I was sat down watching I won't spoil it, but I was watching an animated film, and I was like, oh, these two characters, their physiques are very like Filmation-y. I thought, I wonder if I can. And I took the frames and I drew over them and traced them, sent off to Dusa, and he's like, oh wow, he's like, that's really going to catch everybody off guard. And I was like, yeah, but it's I think it works, and it really does. When we kind of done a few tests, and it's like, yeah, I think we're onto something.
Yeah, because I think the hardest thing to me, or at least the most insane thing beyond the animation, was just what guys were talking about earlier about the voices. The thought of you sat there and wrote an entire story, had to think of all these pieces of dialogue from all these different episodes to put into one to make a unique episode. I mean, that just sounds, it's so damn difficult, but also shows the knowledge that you have of all the stuff. But I guess I did have one question. Is there any unique pieces of dialogue, or is every bit of it going to be from all the other episodes?
I think everything is it?
Wow.
Yeah, everything is from an episode. Because it's funny now, I've got to the point where when I first started editing it together, I would watch it, but I'd always think, Evelyn's plot, dragon invasion. I'd always, in my back of my mind, be remembering where the clips were from. But I've watched it so many times now that the dialogue, it's going to sound so arrogant to a degree, but now the dialogue in it just feels the return of Faker. I can't, it's very difficult to me to listen to it and think to myself, where's that from? Or immediately think, oh, that's from that episode, or that's from that. I've completely turned it in my brain, all these bits of dialogue, into the return of Faker audio. It's really strange.
It's unbelievable, because that's what I mean. I thought there would have had to been some point during the writing of this that you would have came up with something that would have been, not in the cartoon that existed, and you would have thought, oh God, how are we going to voice this, or what are we going to do? And the thought of that every bit of it is used from the cartoon. My God, like I said, that's amazing. One
of my favorite things. Again, I won't spoil anything, but there's the opening scene at the start of Act 2, which I think I uploaded to social media, so Tyler probably saw it. Basically has dialogue between two characters, and it's about 45 seconds to a minute long, and their dialogue is from, I think it's 11 different episodes, but you watch it and you really wouldn't know that. Like, people said, I had people messaging me on Instagram especially saying, how did you do the dialogue? And it's like, I didn't do it, I just pieced it together. But people think someone said, I had a lot of people say, what was the other one? The common thing was, the actors sound just like the originals. It's like, they are the originals. That's the point.
They were like, I thought some of them weren't alive. They must have been freaking out. Like, how did you do that? They might have spooked them.
I love the idea, though, that, you do such a convincing job that people think it's either a new episode or an unreleased or a lost episode. It's like, no, man, this is just a lot of love going into this, which is what's making it, so good. I sound so arrogant when I say that.
No. Which I wanted to ask you too, having done this and hoping that it gets a seal of approval by the people who have the rights to the animated series, and seeing that a new episode can be made by just using the same mindset with Filmation, using the same stock animation, stuff like that, and you guys using the same audio. I mean, does that open up, or like the thought cross your mind of like another episode using types of dialogue, certain action sequences, certain pieces of characters that weren't used as much, and put them in this episode? Like, does it open up that, can people look at this when it's done, like, all this was done just from using previous animation? Like, this opens up like.
Yeah, it's funny. Let me give you an answer in a sec. I'm just going to try and replace my headphones with speakers that are just over there, because it's like hearing my voice in my ear. I don't know how you do it. It's like all I've got is I'm like, man, is my voice that deep? I don't think so.
Okay.
Tell we're live doing this on the fly.
That's right.
We don't claim to be a big budget production here. This is all just, we're small time, but we have a lot of heart.
It's all unedited. Exactly. What you see is what you get. You mess up, you screw up, we're going to have this on the podcast. We're going to leave it. So,
yeah.
say if you want to watch your mouth, no. You know me. Hey, I'm always dropping
'Cause I
something
thought
once in a
James was
while.
going to
Don't
drop
mean to.
an MF bomb earlier. But I wish James had said it. You know, I mean,
How
how
cool
gold
would
would
that
that
have
have
been?
been? It would have been pure fried gold to hear James yell, "Mother!" You know.
Okay, I'm going to do the I'm going to try this audio swap. Okay, hang on a sec.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
And are you getting the dog barking?
No.
No. But me and Tyler talked at the exact same time. Yes. No.
Yes. No. Yeah, because when you both said no, I was like, am I getting an echo now? Is this all good? Is this all working?
Yes.
Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah, no problem.
Perfect. Okay, brilliant. So yeah, the answer to your question, Tyler, which was, are we going to make more episodes, or what comes next? Like possibilities. The funny thing was, I didn't tell Deuce this, and this isn't like, guess what? We're going to do another episode. I was playing around with a bit of audio, and I realised that if you down pitch Skeletor's voice, you can come up with a whole new voice. I was like, oh, so theory is, I thought you could actually, you know, if you took every line of dialogue that Skeletor's had and you down pitch it, and it becomes this very dark, you know, guttural voice. I thought, could there be another character? Could you, you know, feasibly invent a character and then have a new, you know, do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
Yeah, so I was
Oh, wait,
like,
the dog's
oh.
barking again.
Oh no, is it?
Yeah.
Oh man, hang on. I'll just have to go back to this and just bear with it. Yeah, here we go.
The stuff we put James through, damn it, I
Cheap
tell
headphones.
you.
That's fine. Okay, right, we're back.
You don't know cheap till you talk to Joe there. So
Yeah, these are cool. I used to get $1 ones until Nathan hooked me up with a nice pair. So thanks again, Nathan. But yeah, it was always $1 from the Dollar Tree. Lasted 2 weeks. But go ahead, James.
Wow. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I think it's nice. You come up with all these ideas and think, oh, I remember one of the earliest things I said to Dusan. I said, well, after this, we could feasibly do, you know, the power of the evil horde, because you've got all these, you know, Filmation voices in that read-along book. But how cool will it be to animate that? But then, yeah, it just becomes like, well, what is the point? You know, not like a defeatist way, but it's like, but everybody knows that.
But what if these people see how great this episode looks? You know, like people that are, you know, have the rights, they see this, and you want them to see it to give you the official stamp. If they see it, like, they could do a whole new episode just using previous animation and splicing things together. Like it's essentially kind of a low budget animated series. Like, and you guys clearly know what you're doing. Is that outside? Like, you ever thought about that?
I think that the thing is, it's, you know, the Return of Fake is kind of a one-off, because you can only do so much with that dialogue. You know, you've got 130 episodes and you've got a lot of dialogue, but to create a new episode from existing dialogue, you are limited. Like, we couldn't, you know, if you said, I'll do an episode about, I'm trying to think, I don't want to say King Hiss because that sounds too predictable, but like another character.
Like Stinkor, I'm still very curious about Stinkor being in the series.
Yeah, okay. Like, so if you said, hey, let's do an episode about Stinkor, to find dialogue to suit a story, I can imagine it's not a case of, oh, I don't know where that dialogue exists, but you've got to find characters talking about smell or stench, or, you know what I mean? And it becomes a challenge in that way. It's like, well, how can we tell a Stinkor story without anybody saying, one, his name, or two, the stench of evil?
Hey, a thought. I mean, this is just a quick random thought. I mean, what if there was just people that wanted a voice for you for free, that, you know, did their own unique lines and voices? Would that be something that you could be open to?
I think that's, you know, I'm not going to say no to it. I mean, obviously with the Return of Fake, it's like, let's just make everything 100% genuine, or as real as possible. But yeah, I mean, like, if down the line someone said, here's a bunch of money, make a bunch of new episodes, then I think at that point you're forced to go, okay, well, we're going to need voice actors. You know, as simple as that. That's where you stop being able to pull and pluck from the original series, because you run out of options, really.
Well, can you not use She-Ra? I mean, because I know you mentioned about doing the power of the evil horde, which I feel like you're using at least audio from, you know, several She-Ra.
Yeah, I guess,
or at least animation, so to speak.
There's enough dialogue and stuff from She-Ra I think you could do something new with. But again, I think you just, with the Return of Faker, the kind of the uniqueness of it is, it's how, it sounds weird. It's like, you could, like people have said, oh, you should do a follow-up with, you know, it sounds a bit mundane, but you should do a follow-up with Anti-Eternia He-Man. And I like that character. It's like, I mean, one, that's the same stuff. We're doing another episode about fake He-Man. And also, we'll now run out of He-Man dialogue that sounds bad, you know, evil He-Man baddie dialogue. So, I mean, there's the possibility. I have an idea for another one, like another episode. I thought, oh, that'd be a great one to do. But again, I'm like, how would I even? Yeah, it's finding characters to say certain words.
Like, would it necessarily even have to be including a new character? Like, why not incorporate Triclops more heavily and another evil warrior?
No, I agree. I mean, the problem with like, for example, I know you're using him as an example, but the problem with a lot of those characters, like if you did, let's do a new episode about Merman. Within all those episodes, all those unique episodes, there's always some piece of dialogue where it's relating to, let's think, the Crimson Pearl or the Spellstone, or all these specific items or plans of action. When you're pulling from episodes, it's like, well, I need to create the story out of the dialogue. And if I've got nothing, it's weird. It's if you've got nothing new. See, the best thing about Faker was you could just say, he's a robot, he's this, he's that, without having to say his name every single time.
Gotcha.
And I'm not just saying about new characters. I mean, like, let's do an episode where Trapjaw builds a giant robot to overtake the palace. Oh, that's not a bad idea. But to do that, again, it's not out of the realm of possibility, but you want there to be dialogue where Trapjaw's saying, okay, I've got this plan, I'm going to do this and this. And if that doesn't exist, you're like, I'm really kind of stretching like I say, the easiest thing about the Faker thing is that you're dealing with a robot and a character that looks like He-Man and a character that's actually existed before. So there's a level of, you can work within that. I think as soon as you step outside, you're like, right, let's try something with a new story about Trapjaw or a new story about Teela. It becomes a bit more challenging. Also, I mean, I don't mean to be defeatist again, but time is this has taken 3 years, and yes, you build up a stock library of animation, but and we can always do new animation, but now it's like, well, what comes next? Do we then sit down and go, right, let's plan this next episode? I just don't think either of us. I think this is very much a passion project that's a one-off. But if someone said, here's a truckload of money, here's a team of people, we probably would be like, yeah, sure, why not? But
yeah, I mean, guys, you guys are only a 4-man crew compared to Jesus back in the day. I mean, think of the amount of people that animated. It's like,
that's the thing. It's crazy. Like, there were more blooming people in their special effects department than we've got in the entire thing, and it's it's crazy. But it's one of those things where I've no doubt that if we did another one, it'd be equally as good. I think in a way it'd be much harder to do, just because the Faker story, it's going to sound really weird, is easy to tell.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because it's quite like, I'm not going to spoil anything for Joe, but the story is so basic when you look at the Faker story. It's the beauty of it is, one, it's the Faker we've never seen. It's the cross-cell art Faker, but also it's the weaving of the dialogue is primarily how that works in the visuals, but the story is your basic start, middle, and end. When you look at it,
you picked. But what you did, if you didn't, oh God, I'm hearing the dog barking again. I'm sorry. No, but what you guys did though was you picked the perfect character, because you picked a cult character. The amount of love and not only in art but in customs that I've seen on Facebook, Instagram for Faker, I mean, it's overwhelming. So you picked the perfect character, but also within telling a story where finally we get to see the Faker that people wanted to see in the cartoon, which is going to make them happy. I think it's just going to show that once at PowerCon, and this, I don't know if you guys eventually release on YouTube, however things will work, but once it starts going around the entire, internet and everywhere in social media, I think it'll get the word out that fans do love this and want this, and it'll show this is something they're clamoring for. This is something they love, and they would definitely back if, like you said, there was a budget and they made more episodes. But either way, if that could have been put to somehow to be, for sale, which I know, like you said, there's reasons you can't sell it, but just if there could have been a way, like you said, a joint partnership or something to have that for sale for people, and then for them to thank God, fans would like to see more of this He-Man that shouldn't be mocked, because what's unfortunate is a lot of the stuff that I see on YouTube, I'll see a lot of videos to where they'll try to copy the Filmation style, and it's all in part of making fun and poking fun at He-Man, unfortunately. But the thing that's sad is all these views. I'm like, God, if people are looking at these stupid mocked videos of Filmation He-Man, what do you think they would think to see a real episode of Filmation Masters of the Universe done proper?
That's the funny thing. Like, it's going to sound. This is a peek behind the curtain. I don't think we've ever said. But well, firstly, I'll go to your point. You're right that post PowerCon, my kind of idea is maybe before PowerCon, like a month, if there's time, we put a trailer up and put it on social media. And I think based on the most recent clip we put up, which was the opening of Act 2, that got so much positive response. There was just no negativity. The only negative comment, I can't say it because it might spoil it for Joe, but it was just like, oh, their hair's not moving. And I was like, that's because they use really good hair product in Eternia. I was just mocking it. I was like,
who the hell takes time to I must let James know.
It's just like, he was just, I think he was being facetious, but I was like, I'll be like, yeah, whatever. But yeah, so I think you're right in the sense of social media will give it the traction that me just maybe uploading it to YouTube wouldn't. Like, I'll definitely put the trailer on YouTube, and I'll definitely put it on Facebook and Instagram, and hopefully that will generate something. Maybe like hashtag Universal Make This or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I like that.
But the thing is interesting, and I actually, I don't. It's not a big secret. I don't think Dusan would mind me saying this. He's probably sitting there going, "What's he going to say?" First off, when I storyboarded the story, like in my brain and speaking to Dusan, we always took it 100% seriously. Like the Skeletor in this, while there are moments where he's that comedic one, most of his dialogue is like serious. He rarely ventures into "you bumbling oaf" and any of that stuff. It's pretty like Dragon Invasion Skeletor, Diamond Ray Skeletor, that one.
Yeah.
If he might throw out the odd insult, but there's it's not that, you broke my staff kind of thing from season 2 where you're like, oh man, no. Which was, and that's
I love his dialogue in particular when, obviously Joe, like Faker, gets introduced to everybody at one point. And I just love Skeletor's dialogue and his animation of like commanding what he wants. Like that's one of my favorite parts of that sequence. And like, because
I didn't like it when Dusan did, like, we obviously had that sequence you're talking about. When Dusan put that in, I said, oh, I don't feel like we need that. And he's like, no, we'll include that. And I was like, okay. And then it totally works because people love that command, as it were. It's so dramatic. And it totally works. But yeah, I mean, like, hopefully the trailer will get traction, and then from there.
Like, are you going to play like kind of epic trailer music, or will we play Filmation, like Shuki Levy's?
It will definitely be
music.
Like, I had an idea for a trailer. I haven't even told you, so I wrote it down. But it will be a really good trailer. It won't be long, and it will be Avengers Endgame-y in that it won't try and show off too much good stuff, because I want surprises in this. Because that's the problem. After PowerCon, I'm going to say at PowerCon when I show it, 1, please don't film it and stream it, just please. And also 2, if you can, don't spoil it for people. Because, I mean, I get that social media is a very tricky thing, and this isn't the level of Endgame. We're not that important. But in the terms of the He-Man community, it'd be really nice if every time someone watches this, they're like, oh, wow. Because, I keep saying there's like 2 or 3 scenes. There's about 4 or 5 scenes in Act 2, which will blow people's minds. To the point where I'm telling you this, and Dusan probably knows certain ones, but he's not sure about the specific ones, because there are so many in that second act. But yeah, going back to what I was saying before about peeking behind the curtain and taking this seriously, it's got to the point, and it's sad, but what Joe was saying like goes back to that, where certain things we've storyboarded or animated, we're second guessing at times. Nothing story changing, nothing game changing, but I'll have a shot of, and you know where I'm going to, so it's like He-Man grabbing Faker from behind, and Doosan's like, what are we going to do when? And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I mean, I want to put this scene in, and I think we should, and we probably will. But I remember the first time we uploaded the first scene of the Return of Faker. I'll try to remain spoiler free for Joe here.
You can speak in code because I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So when Faker first is awakened, the awakening of Fakening. When Faker first is awakened, you get that. It's not a massive spoiler, Joe. You get a point of view shot.
Oh, hey, I'll tell you what. Look. I'm gonna take out my earphone, and when you're done doing the spoiler,
I'll give you the finger there, Joe, to let you know.
Hey, there, yeah, give me a middle finger. Whatever you guys. I don't even know what you guys think. You'll be talking about me right
Joe's
now.
handicap here. Good.
Okay. He's now he's in that zone. So the scene where Faker gets up and he walks across to Skeletor, and he's got the point of view, and you see Skeletor walking towards Faker, and then Faker bows. He gets like the Skeletor says, "Bow before your master," or "Kneel before your master," and Faker walks across, and you get the point of view where he goes down. And we noticed, well, like one of the first comments, not the first, but one of the comments I remember when we first said that scene was someone said, it was so pathetic. It's like, congratulations, you managed to make He-Man, the cartoon, even gayer than it originally was.
Oh,
I'm like,
God.
Do you see sexuality in everything? Like a character kneeling in front of another character. We can't do that anymore because that's a wanton act of homosexuality. It's ridiculous. And and it gets to the point of annoyance because, and I've said this publicly recently, I hate it because there's a level of He-Man is gay, and it's not done as humor. It's done using homosexuality as an insult, and that's the thing people seem to fail to realize. I'm like, you don't see what's going on here. This is like a passive form of homophobia. I honestly believe that. If I said, oh, that drawing of so-and-so is gay. And it's like, okay, but why are you saying it? It's like, because I'm trying to bring it down. It's like, well, by bringing it down, that means it's lesser. So anyway, that's another discussion for another time.
Well, I mean, I'm glad because I just feel like you may get some of the, kind of remarks like that once this thing comes out. And I feel like that's something that I don't feel like has been addressed that much because it's like a germ that's spread all over social media. And that's why I worry about He-Man in general, is looked at as a gay joke.
Yeah, there are times when you can. One of the first kind of parody He-Man videos I saw on the internet was a Flash video. So that tells you how old it is. And it was a He-Man is gay thing. But do you know what? It was funny and it was done with love. And it was like a VH1. Do you remember that behind the music?
Yeah, I love the 80s. Yes, and I remember. Yeah. I watched it when it first aired.
No, I'm not talking about that. I know the one you're talking about. This was like a Flash video just on the internet, and it was basically like He-Man converting Castle Grayskull into a disco and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
And it was very like He-Man is gay, but it was funny and it was well done. And I was like, oh, I like that. That's fun. It wasn't hurling insults to raise someone else. It wasn't like He-Man's gay because I'm up here and I can point downwards at it. And it was just the video we're all going to talk about. I don't get it. I just don't get that video. Why it's so hilarious. It's I don't know. So my point is, we can bring Joe back. Actually,
Joe.
Oh, okay.
He's back.
Okay, I'm back.
He's back. So I was just talking to Tyler, just saying with the Return of Faker, we're just kind of tiptoeing around because we don't want people just throwing. This is gay, that's gay, look at that, this, that, because it just becomes like, why are you just throwing shade on our work? And it's not done it's not done lovingly. It's not done. It's done as an insult, and I just find that really frustrating. Maybe I'm wrong, but I really don't.
No,
think
you're not. I'm on the same boat with you. I mean, I'm fed up with what. Go ahead, Joe.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but are you saying, is that what people were saying about your trailer you did, or you said something else where there was something?
No, there was one shot in the opening scene of Return of the Faker where someone just said, this was the line. He said, "Congratulations, you've made the He-Man cartoon gayer than it ever was." I'm like, but the way this person was doing it, that's just that's an insult. That person is using homosexuality as an insult, and I'm like,
yeah.
Do you not see
Which
what
they
you're doing?
shouldn't.
Yeah,
no, right, and that's something they shouldn't do. Because I'll tell you what, that was an example. That's one of the things that I was saying where I seen on YouTube. It just popped up in newsfeed the other day, and somebody tagged me, and it was He-Man. Apparently, Prince Adam is standing in front of Queen Marlene and King Randor, and Man-at-Arms is there, and they're talking about a bunch of people that are going to be invaded with big bulging muscles or something, and Prince Adam is supposed to be, I guess, getting excited about it. He's like, I think He-Man's needed, and then He-Man shows up. They're like, yeah, there's a skull face, and he's got bones too, and but big muscles. And you're right, they're doing this as like, an insult, which, again, there is nothing wrong with anybody being gay, but they're not doing it. They're doing it in a way to make it an insult, where why are you doing this to like mock or be mean to people? That's not something that's funny at all. And that's what I meant. That's what we're seeing on YouTube. It's like, but why are you doing that? Just to get clicks and views?
Yeah,
I don't get it.
Of course it is. It's the funny thing is, I could do a video, as I've shown with the Return of Faker, I can edit dialogue very well. I could easily do a video that maybe, who knows these days, could become a meme, where I could have characters talking to one another like they want to fuck the shit out of one another. I could do that. I could absolutely do that. The point is, I don't want to, because there's no level of creativity there. And also, like, why do I want to? I mean, okay, yes, I'm the person that is the last person to do it because I like the cartoon. It frustrates me when people try and turn something into something it's not. And I'm right. Talking about anything like.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Like, I'm going to say this about the cartoon, blah blah blah, and it's like, no, you're reading too much into that.
Well, hell, what you're saying right there, it's almost like the people who back in the day read too much into the cartoon, saying it was about devil worshipping and evil, which of course changed the landscape of the cartoon.
There you go. That's exactly it. It's the same thing. But yeah, so kind of bringing it back. What I'm really hoping for the Return of Faker is just it goes out and people. One, you're going to have the fans that go, "This is awesome." Hopefully, casual fans will be like, "This is really good." I'd really love it to get traction where it gets picked up by, who knows, like the odd website here and there where someone goes, "These few fans made something pretty amazing," and that would be to get it where people are watching it going, "Oh, this is really good." It's taking itself very seriously whilst also giving a little wink to the audience about this was fun. Remember how fun it was, as opposed to.
Isn't that what it usually takes? What you just said there, isn't that what it usually takes? It takes the passionate fans, the ones who really love the property, who show all the effort and everything to make something great that everybody loves and remembers like that, to where they're now wanting more. It's like, this is not, like I said, this is just me giving an example, but like when The Curse of the Three Terrors was first shown, and I remember the fandom was going insane because anywhere you linked, people were saying, He-Man's coming back. It looks like Filmation. See, just that. The buzz was continuing going crazy. And then when they seen it, there were some people said, "Oh, the animation looks weird. Oh, this is going to be a terrible cartoon." And everybody's like, "No, this isn't supposed to be an actual new cartoon series. This was a quick cartoon."
Yeah.
Right. An advertisement for the figures. And it was just a quick little, cartoon short, which they didn't understand. But within that little bit of a short, it showed the buzz because it spread not only into He-Man pages, but the 80s pop culture and everywhere. And to think that yours is a true one that's going to look like the cartoon, people are going to lose their shit.
I mean, that'd be amazing. Like, that's the thing. I would love it to get that kind of attention where people are like I say, I think the one time this happened was many, many years ago. Me and this guy in Canada created like a pitch, a pitch to IDW for a Ghostbusters comic, because I've been doing a Ghostbusters comic, and I said to this artist who'd been working with me on Serial Geek, I said, why don't we do this? Why don't we do a pitch? I wrote a script. I storyboarded the thing. He illustrated it with his magnificent art. We sent it to IDW, the comic company, and they said, we're not really looking to do this. Okay, fine. The artist said to me, should we put it online? I was like, yeah, sure, let's put it online. We put it online on DeviantArt. It got traction. It got covered by the New York Daily News, loads of websites. Yeah, it got huge traction. And with that, the Ghostbusters comic got a new lease of life. I wasn't involved in it, unfortunately. I got to write one Ghostbusters story, which was pretty cool. But yeah, I truly believe like that was an example of, oh, these fans, they can do a really good job. Let's bring them in. And I would love with this The Return of Faker, that it gets, yeah, just people kind of go, oh my, this is something really special. Maybe there's something we can do with this. Like if you're talking about the important people at Mattel or Universal, DreamWorks, Classic Media, whatever they're called these days, to have them go, maybe there's something here. Because I don't mind uploading it to YouTube and everybody gets to see it, but it would be really nice to have it, you know, the tape ribbon cutting ceremony, something really kind of special, and people are like, wow, this is, because like I said, with the trailer, I really kind of want to, I know the kind of trailer I've got in my mind, and I'm thinking with just the trailer alone, I think we could really make people go, oh wow, because you just include a few really amazing pieces of animation coupled with a nice narrative. And I truly think that the trailer alone will make people go, wait, what's this? You know, and I think, yeah, that would be nice if that gets attention from the important people. But yeah, so in short, Return of Faker is going well.
I really think that this is what He-Man really needs, though. It needs to have a heavy presence like this to get people to shut the hell up and stop carrying on, like at least with casual fans, and thinking it's funny and, you know, Fisto, homosexual references and stuff like that. You know, something like this comes along and shows you this stuff's taken seriously. This stuff was never meant to be laughed at and made fun of. It's probably from some asshole who never grew up with it and think, oh, look, a guy in purple tights. He must be gay. But something like this comes along, I feel like it's going to change perceptions for a lot of people. Like the hardcore fans and even casual fans that are on a lot of the Facebook, I think they're going to love it. He-Man.org people are going to love it. I just feel like this is the kind of thing people need to see to like, oh, holy shit, dude. Like this is like the trailer alone. Like I could picture like the track He-Man to the Rescue, which is by far my favorite track. Playing up and just playing like images quickly, just playing up how serious this mythology and this content was always meant to be perceived, and bringing it back to the forefront to the masses. Like this is what it's all about here, people. It's not a joke. It's not pointing and making fun of homosexuality. It's about classic barbarians and sword and sorcery and demonic villains kicking each other's asses and telling a fun story at the end of the day. It's a good shot in the arm, because I'm worried about the movie being shit. So seeing something like this coming out, and
I don't think we have much to worry about the movie in terms of, I don't think they will look at the comedic perception of He-Man and think, oh, maybe we should tailor. I think they're just going to do their own thing, very much. Like I've no involvement or any acknowledgement or any knowledge of anything. I think they're just going to do their own thing, and whatever that is, we'll either like it or dislike it. I think it's that simple. I think they'll, you know, not to get into a movie discussion, but I think they'll look to what the fans like, hopefully, and look to what made the show a success. Like the genius of the Marvel films on the whole is what worked in the 60s. Okay, why don't we keep doing that? Why don't we use that template that Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and all those guys used, where you do all these stories and they build to something, and there's continuity and there's all this stuff, and you keep those characters true to themselves. And yeah, there's an argument where, you know, someone like Thor, who I am a Thor purist, but I kind of like the direction they went, especially with the end game. It's like, okay, that's different.
You were cool with that?
Yeah, like we're going to go into a discussion here about that. But like I was a huge Thor fan, like especially the Kirby days and the Walt Simonson in the 80s when he did the whole Surtur with the giant sword and destroying the Rainbow Bridge and all that amazing stuff. When I I can understand the shift they took with Thor. I did like that, especially in Endgame, the way that story arc ended. It's like I can see the journey he's made, because Thor was always this person who's this character who has all this kind of bravado, but he's like a little boy. He's got no confidence. And I think, as in, he's always the unworthy son and all this business. But I like the fact he went into that weird place in Ragnarok, which I think a lot of that, his character was influenced by all the events around him, because it got crazier and crazier as the thing went on. And then, like, come Endgame, you see the result of his failures and his inability to connect with certain people. And then his story reaches a conclusion. But sorry, with the He-Man movie, yeah, I just think they'll do their own thing. So long as the only thing that they need to get right is He-Man, his true character is as simple as that. And you'll know the line straight away. It's like, I only fight when I must, and each time I hope it is the last time. Because that's perfect. You've got this man with all this fuck off power, and he's like, yeah, but I don't want to beat up a tree, or I don't want to do this. I don't mind the odd bit of tree slaying in a movie, if he's got to get through a dense forest. I would love, for me, the ideal He-Man movie is a mix of those 7 DC comics visually, when it's the Mark Texiera, I think it's pronounced his surname. Not the first 4, where he builds a house with his fist.
Yeah, the ones that got Triclops and Trapjaw.
Yeah, when the terror of when they introduce those characters, and that's a story arc. They build it, and I love those mini comics. They're my favorites. Have that with the heart of the Filmation cartoon, and I think you've got something. I don't, get an Orko in there. Have Battle Cat talk. I think to not have Battle Cat talk is a massive error, because you take out that, not Batman and Robin, but that sidekick camaraderie. Yeah. The beauty of having Battle Cat is He-Man can bounce off him and not stand there and go, what is this I'm looking at? Because he can say, Battle Cat, what do you think? That kind of thing. Sorry, we've kind of gone off subject, but He-Man movie, I've got high hopes, just because I think they're hopefully looking at stuff what works in the current cinema. My fear is that they would think, sword and sorcery, Game of Thrones, let's just do that. Let's make it all bleak and dark. That would be a mistake, because if you're going to entice people with a He-Man movie, it needs to have that fantasy element, but it needs to have color, and it needs to have heart and pop from the screen. It needs to distinctly be something that has never been seen. For me, the closest thing to a He-Man film visually was probably Thor Ragnarok, because you've got all these bright colors, all these amazing buildings and structures. It just a visually gorgeous film. So I'd love it if they kind of went that way. But yeah, I guess we'll wait and see. I don't believe it's going to come out next year. I mean, there's always talk of it's coming out next year. It's like,
no, it's not.
What are you making this with, like $40,000 budget? It's I guess it's one of those things. I like Joe, I've always said, I will start getting excited when I see that first picture from production, whether it be man in costume. Man, I don't want to see some bloke pointing at a laptop screen going, look, we're doing this drawing of the character. Because that's bullshit. That doesn't tell me anything. I can do that. I can get a photo of me. Look, I'm working on a He-Man film.
Exactly. Until then, I'll just keep I'll keep my meme ready at all times, ready to update that year, every single year. But before we go to our next subject, which will be, first, when is it going to be showing its debut at PowerCon? You might as well let everybody know. I can't remember the exact date for Return of Fate.
The exact date myself. I do have something. Hang on a sec. I'm just looking at my bookmarks here. Bear with me.
Okay.
I've got something. Oh no! This is where I can't find it. Is this it? No. Oh, I know I'm doing wrong. Sorry. This is great television. Oh God, that's where the internet doesn't work. Come on.
This is great. I like it. Put him on the spot. I love this. Way to let Val and everybody down. Good job, James. He's like, it's sometime in summertime.
Sometime this year. That's amazing. Let's just go to
it's August 17th and 18th or something like PowerCon. Is that what you're saying?
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, because I couldn't remember which day you were. Yeah, if it was, like Tyler said, the 17th or the 18th.
I'm sure it'd be Saturday. I could see James doing this on a Saturday.
Saturday, the 17th of August. So that's when it will be. I hope that's right. Yeah, Saturday, the 17th of August. About, I think, we haven't finalised it yet with Val, but like 9 or 10 o'clock in the evening, because that's what time it was shown last year. And luckily, everybody sticks around, and you got a good. Nobody's like caught up with looking around tables or doing panels. Everybody's just there to see that
awesome.
that cartoon.
Well, can't wait for it. And I was just giving you some shit there, no problem. But now we're going to move on to something that a lot of people maybe have never heard of, and I can't wait to see what you got to say, if there's going to be anything you're going to show. But it's Filmation's unproduced He-Man and the Masters of Space. You got to let us know about this for people that don't know.
Okay, so I think it was a good 10 or so years ago, maybe a bit longer, where there was this collector who's sadly no longer with us, a guy called Darius Golden, I think was his surname. But Darius, he was one of the first people that had access to Lou Scheimer. Lee Clevenger was the first. He would always, hang out. He would bump into Lou Scheimer at the most interesting places, but also see him around the area, because Lee lived in the valley where Lou lived as well. So he'd bump into him and stuff. And Darius was one of those who was like a big fan of Filmation. Him and his sister Darianne, and they would go to Lou's. They met John Irwin numerous times. They were like super fans. But Darius collected so much animation art. But what he got, because he was really early in the door, like Lee, he managed to get like a lot of good stuff, and he was getting just a lot of development artwork. And what he found was this stack of papers from a Filmation pitch, not even a pitch, that's probably the wrong word. It was something that was in production called He-Man and the Masters of Space, which was Filmation's, they've been speaking to Mattel. Mattel said, here are these figures we're going to do. And Filmation were like, okay, let's turn these into, it's clearly, it had worked for them before, let's do it again. So I think it was early 1989, like first few months, because Filmation closed their doors in, was it February 1989, I think? So literally the first couple of months of 1989 saw Filmation develop He-Man and the Master of Space. So Darius had acquired these, not scripts, but like a series Bible, and then another revised series Bible. And it was, I spent a long time trying to figure out where everything was, because basically what happened was it was kind of sitting in Darius's collection, not doing much. And then Emiliano and the parent of the Honor Foundation bought it, and Emiliano just scanned it all in. It was like, can you make sense of this? And I was like, I'll give it a shot. So went through it all, and read it and thought, wow, this is really very different. And because Dusan was saying to me today, oh, you're going to talk about Masters of Space. I was like, it'll be tricky, because all the paperwork, one, it's all on my desktop, as in it's all on my computer, but also it's all jumbled up. So in other words, you'll read one version, and then there's another version where the ideas clash. So what I did a few years ago I wrote an article for Serial Geek, issue 14. There's a plug for you. And I wrote this article about He-Man and the Masters of Space. So what I'll probably do is kind of read from it as best I can. That's okay.
Sounds good. Bring it on.
I'm gonna try the sorry about this. I'm gonna try the speaker option once more. Just because the vibrations are killing my eardrum. So if the barking dog happens, let me know. Woof. So yeah. So I'll show the article. So this is what this is. How many pages was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 10-page article.
That's a lot to work with there, looks like.
Oh, there we go. You see that
now,
one?
is that, yes, I love that image. Is that something that was just kind of put as like,
Here we go. I didn't have these speakers on.
Oh, okay.
So,
I wanted to ask you about the image real quick. Like, is that an image that was put together by a fan, like a rendition, including like the NA look, or is this what Filmation was going for? Like this?
That's Filmation's. It was like a promotional sale. So it had the copyright date on it and everything. The the background and the space, and if you look, you can see the original He-Man in the background there. That was,
yes.
That was me doing a bit of Photoshop wizardry because he just looked a bit lost on a white background. But yeah, that's He-Man and Skeletor. That's. I mean, I don't think the face is quite there, but again, I think it was just for promotional purposes. But that was their Skeletor.
Okay, because I want to say I thought I had seen these images online before, and to see them in this article, I thought they were just someone had just kind of decided to do.
Oh no, it wasn't like
Filmation versions of it, as opposed to
from Filmation's production. So yeah, I'll read this as best I can. I do this preface where I talk about the He-Man toy line that died, the original one. So Mattel were going to do the He-Man in space idea, and the fact that Mattel and Filmation had worked together for so many years on He-Man, and it had been a really good relationship because they'd done the Filmation He-Man, and then when She-Ra came along, that was very much a co-production where both Mattel and Filmation were working on these characters, bringing together, bringing about Hordak and the Evil Horde and She-Ra. You've seen online probably all those sketches or various sketches. I think Doosan's posted a lot in the I forget the name of the Facebook group now, the Archives of Grayskull maybe, where
is it the ancient library of
ancient library. I just went, that's it, and I pointed to the speaker like you were over there. I was like, yes, Joe, you're right.
Yeah, it sat there and barked again just to let you know. But go ahead, you're good.
Yeah. So okay, so I've got like the text from. I copied a lot of the text from the thing, so it's not like I'm making this up. Trust me, I'm not making this up. There are some things in here that
makes me worry about what's coming here. The way James is selling this already.
No, don't worry. We're not going to have Hero and the Land of Legend levels of goofy.
I hope not.
I mean, like there's nothing that looks like a penis in here. So
that was a fucking doozy. That was something else.
Yeah, there's nothing like that. There's going to be nothing where everyone's losing their shit. It's this is. I mean, it is pretty basic, but it is interesting. So bear in mind, obviously, what the New Adventures became. It was obviously jet lag via Deke, I guess. What the New Adventures of He-Man was, a very different show from, starts off on Eternia, but then ends up on Primus, and it's very different. So here we go. So the series, this is from the series Bible. The series follows the adventures of Adam, now Commander Adam of the Starship Eternia, and He-Man as they travel through deep space to confront the revitalized evil of Skeletor. At Adam's side is familiar comedic figure of Orko. In front of him is the console, RAM, RAM, as in, random access memory, I think was the term. So RAM, a control board directly responsive to the electrical energy in Adam's brain. So much so that it can create visual holograms and voice projections of Adam to account for his absence when he transforms into He-Man. Okay, so in other words, when he's off doing He-Man, Ram will go like, "There's Prince Adam." So yeah. In his scabbard is a new sword with amazing powers. Oh, this is the sword. I can't wait to. Here we go. This is where the sword comes in. You ready for this? In his scabbard is a new sword with amazing powers, not all of which it shares with Adam, for it is a talking sword.
Oh shit.
All right, James, I thought you said this shit wasn't going to be as bad as Hero. Here we fucking go again.
God almighty.
Does it sing? Oh.
Whenever I
singing sword and Roger Rabbit.
Yeah. My attitude would be this. I always said to Doosan, I actually do this with my friend Lee in America. I said, I can imagine if they did a talking sword, and I love Filmation, but I guarantee it would have been like, Zagraz would be like, "Oh golly, He-Man," and you're like, "Oh, that kind of shit." Like,
oh God, yes, yeah, and I could see that too.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So anyway, he's got a talking sword, and one that doesn't. This is the where it gets bad, and one that doesn't hesitate to express its own short-tempered desire for immediate action. Ram's philosophy is take immediate. Ram. So the computer's philosophy is to take immediate impulsive action with a darn the consequences attitude. He is not always pleased with Adam. This is the sword. Hang on, sorry, I'm getting lost here. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, anyway, so the sword sucks. Aided by a brand new crew of power heroes, including Darius, Hydron, and Flipshot.
Okay.
Adam, He-Man, and the fantastic Starship Eternia roar through a series of high-action adventures that will take them through time and space across the frontiers of the universe. So, and this is me talking now. Aware of the basic premise of He-Man and Skeletor fight in the future, one of the first things Filmation did was flesh out the colourful cast of characters that existed within the Triax star system. A meeting was held. I was pretty good at my research. A meeting was held on the 18th of January 1989 at Filmation, in which a group of creatives began working on the individual personality traits of the characters. Bear in mind, this meeting is held on the 18th of January. Filmation closed their doors on February the 3rd. This is like 2 weeks' work. So close to that sword.
This idea fucking closed their doors, I think. That might have been it. They're like, oh god, we got Kit and a sword now. It's like Knight Rider. What the hell's going on? They're like, we're done. Close the doors.
Like, L'Oreal walk in, they're like, I think they're French company. What ideas are you come up with? And they're like, He-Man and the Talking Sword. They're like, close this company.
Exactly, close it down. Throw the paper. So that's why you have them in scattered order. The papers got thrown up, half got missing and lost. They don't even know what they have. Oh, keep going, James. This is
not the fact, the idea that the sword killed Filmation.
You need to draw up this talking, dancing sword, the thing that killed Filmation. Jesus.
Like just like stuck right to the Filmation logo, just like jam right through the heart of Filmation there.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, sorry, it does get worse. I just remembered. Okay, we're not there yet.
Oh, it does.
Man.
I was just like, I forgot about that. So anyway, so 18th of January 1989, Filmation creatives began working on the individual personality traits of the characters. The character descriptions for both He-Man and Skeletor are as to be expected and differ very little from what Filmation had established. Prior to Filmation's involvement, Mattel had loosely established 3 allies for He-Man and 2 henchmen for Skeletor. So basically, we've got Darius, Flipshot, Hydron, Flog, and Slushhead. So we know all about that there. Oh, but I'm saying that, but Darius obviously wasn't in the New Adventures, was he? Darius was an action figure.
Yeah, didn't he just pop up in like the UK stories or something?
The UK books, yeah.
Those they were the German stories that I think the UK translated.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Darius came out as a figure, didn't he?
Not in the States. I think it was released as a prototype.
Just a prototype, but we got him just in classics. Yeah, we just got to see that. Okay. Yeah, exactly.
I was always a bit unsure about him. So anyway, Darius is Commander Adam's Master at Arms aboard the Starship Eternia. He is quite literally the spirit of the Starship Eternia. It is our intention to treat him as a metaphysical being with a lightning-quick mind and even faster reflexes. Darius is the only one, save for Orko, aboard the Eternia who knows Commander Adam's identity as He-Man. So Darius knows Prince Adam as He-Man. Pretty much like the New Adventures cartoon. Hydron has, it says, his gills give him the ability to breathe underwater. So obviously he was like Aquaman, I guess. Flog, Skeletor's principal enforcer. Flog is usually dispatched by the Bony One to nudge rebellious Triaxians back into line. Blah, blah, blah. Slushhead's the same. As Filmation have done with many series before, when they attempted to fashion a wealth of their own weird and wonderful characters for the series. This is what I wrote in the article, though, without offending anyone that worked at Filmation, this particular project. Many of the personality traits of these characters are very typical of what one would expect in a typical Saturday morning cartoon, and don't seem anywhere near as dynamic as the personalities we were treated to in the He-Man and She-Ra cartoon. Okay, oh my goodness. Right, okay, so we've got some random reason there's no real illustrations here. I can show you a few in a minute, but Effin Devaro?
Fucking the way, who'd you say?
I says Evan. I think that's the guy's name because at first I was like.
I thought he was being polite. I thought he was trying to say like, "Hey, fucking Devaro," but he was like, "Evan."
Because I actually was expecting James to say, "What the fuck," as he's reading more and more of this stuff of singing swords and rams and
Maybe
roms.
It's a joke because it's so the name is This first name is Ephon, so it's Effin or Effin.
Yes, it's a.
F this.
So Effin, the most swashbuckling privateer in the Triax star system. She is a cross between Maureen O'Hara and bodybuilder Rachel McLeish. Feminine, but at the same time assertive. She can hold her own with any of the cutthroats she commands. She leads a privateer band which consists of Bernhardt, a compact, quick-witted robot, second in command. He's the unemotional brains of the outfit and a lethal fighter. When he has a mind to be, his mechanical voice is always soft and oh so polite, even when he's angry. Maybe
Was he C-3PO?
Don't know. Maybe Robot is female and has a crush on Orko. So they were thinking maybe make her a female robot and she crushes on Orko. Mutant. That's a great name. Mutant. A two-headed reptilian being that always has 2 points of view. Oh, Filmation. And is always arguing with itself over what course of action to take.
Oh my God! Too bad 2.0.
Yeah.
God.
Oh man, they didn't care about these names. Here we go. This name, I don't know how they did this. Goliath. Big,
That's original.
dumb, lovable. This
Oh,
huge,
that's cold-blooded. Jesus, what a description too.
furry, horned beast supplies brawn to the pirate band. Oh god, I can't bother to read the rest of that. Slither, a bright red snake from one of the star system's middle planets. He's a great asset to the band because he can wriggle in places where nobody else can go. He is forever hungry and has a weakness for fresh, ripe fruit, which he swallows whole. Oh, no. Queen Ophelia. Imagine Queen Elizabeth I. The rest of this is boring. Like, as in that, it's just who cares?
We bring James on to talk about Masters of Space. And it's like, what the hell's going on? It's like, okay, we're done with that segment. But no, go ahead.
Queen Ophelia, earnest about governing, she wants only the best for her people, all 300 different races of them. Next one, La Takar. So this guy, I remember when I read this, wily, larcenous, and filled with a glib surface charm. He's basically, they describe him as Sydney Greenstreet, which was actually the model for Kothos in the original He-Man series. So imagine like a big fat dude who's like, he has 2 thick tentacles where his arms should be. Of course he does. And he's the savviest businessman in the star system. And this is interesting. I do remember this. He's built the Club Royale up to one of the biggest, busiest casinos in the star system. And if I remember rightly, like in a lot of the development notes, they kept going on about like this casino, like this big gambling thing was going to be.
Sounds like Silverhawks almost.
Yes, yeah, kind of thing. It was like we're going to go to this community hub of this casino thing, and like gambling is bad, kids, or something. I don't know. Torben, tribal leader of the Primatox. He has a huge appetite. Why does everybody have a huge appetite? He's a chief, and when he wants something, he wants it now. There's a touch of Jim Henson's animal in him. I'm sure there is. Neilram, the pudgy, bad-tempered hermit of New Canaan, lives in a desert cave far from the polluted steel cities that have fouled his planet. Shortly after this, He-Man learns blah blah blah. He-Man finds out. You can tell I'm just like this. Steelclaw, a dinosaur from Primatora. Steelclaw was hunted down by New Canaan poachers and left for dead. Royal zookeepers found the creature and transport. This is so much backstory for these characters that no wonder they went out of business. Rescued by He-Man, he vows vengeance on Skeletor and his minions. Rockella. Oh, Rockella. Wow. Rockella, a rock woman from the moon of Tremok. Rockella is a sex pot. She's
What?
built more. Yeah, she's built more along the lines of Tugboat Annie than Raquel Welch, and can be heard coming from a mile away, where her step is not light. She has a high school girl crush on He-Man, but any kind of romantic future between a flesh and blood man and a woman made of granite blocks seems unlikely.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
But He-Man is fond of Raquel in a brotherly way, and Raquel will do anything to help her superhero. When danger is afoot, she plunges into battle enthusiastically. Turbo.
And after all that, James is like, here, go to my website and buy issue 14 of Serial Geek. Or what issue was that?
Oh, God, I forgot. Right, so we're on Furbo. The next one after Furbo is great. Furbo, a fat, furry beast with 4 fat, furry arms. The top of Furbo's head opens up like a hinged lid to reveal a smaller, furry version of the same beast living inside. Guys, like David Lynch. Horrible. The larger version of Furbo is kindly but dim. The smaller version is a fast-talking wise guy who loves to make fun of his bigger counterpart. Veggie Man. A plant creature.
Is he a fucking carrot?
It's like Veggie Tales.
Here we go. I can't hear this one.
A plant creature that can change itself into any kind of vegetation.
What the hell for?
Old Veg, they call him Old Veg for short, has a goofy, fun-loving personality and a warped sense of humor. He, she, it likes nothing better than to disguise himself as some innocuous growing thing, and then burst into a loud, raucous laughter, ha ha ha, scaring the daylights out of any passerby. Fortunately, Veg is dedicated to restoring the Queen to her throne, blah, blah, blah. Now for the villains. That was the heroes, that wonderful lineup of heroes. Here we go. And now for the first one. Oh my God. How did Skeletrix? Skeletor's younger sister.
What?
And non-stop and non-stop irritant. Like any brother and sister, they are constantly competitive.
Oh my God.
Skeletrix went to all the best schools of the evil arts and is convinced that she can be a far more effective baddie than Skeletor.
Oh my God.
Constantly correcting him and pointing out his flaws, she makes him so nervous that he becomes a babbling bundle of bones whenever she's around. Worse, she thinks He-Man is a hunk, the most magnificent mass of muscle in the galaxy. As a character called Bark, a weird-looking alien dog who is even nastier than Skeletor. Bark is the one living thing, and oh my God, Bark's bio is about 4 paragraphs long, and it's just about a dog that Skeletor likes more than anything. Oh wow, we're not. I might skip a few because they're boring. Slicer, picture a broad-shouldered brute. No. Gargantua with the body. Oh, here we go. You like this, Tyler? Gargantua with the body of a powerful ape. King Kong meets Arnold Schwarzenegger, and the head of a woolly mammoth. Oh, let's not bother. Tekrina, a gorgeous humanoid robot whose warped memory chips have made her one of the most nasty machines in the Doomsayer. He's a squat robot creature with an unruly mop of hair. Igor. So anyway, here's the development sketches for Skeletrix. Finish your water. We'll spit it out.
All right, say something there, James, because we need to pop up on the screen there.
That's it?
Oh, God. Shit.
Oh. Say some more, James, to pop that on the screen.
But it doesn't pop up. Yeah. Can you see that? Is that all right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's Skeletrix. That's Skeletrix, and that is Skeletrix. Obviously, development sketches. Yeah.
You know what I don't get about all of that? I mean, I can understand all the new characters that they would have tried to create, but all of a sudden now he has a sister. I mean, how would they even explain?
We haven't got to his niece and nephew.
Oh,
fuck, crap. The whole family's
I
here.
tell you, like New Adventures of the He-Man cartoon, those scientists are looking a little bit more badass now. God.
Hey, you haven't heard their names. This might change your opinion. You might think, well, his niece and nephew could have been the next big thing.
Is this where
So
Skeleton comes in?
His niece and nephew are Funny Bone and Honey Bone. I'm not going to read the protocol because they will make you hate everything. They like to play. Let me read the abridged. They like to play practical jokes on their uncle, especially in moments of real crisis. Everything Funny Bone does really frosts Skeletor's shorts. But God! But every once in a while, Skeletor has a moment of compassion for his little character who resembles him so much. At those times, we momentarily see a warmer side of Skeletor. It sounds like it makes a Christmas special like blooming evil, you know. Yeah. Anyway,
he's lost. He's like, that's it. Is there more characters?
There's, like I say, the character details. I did go into a lot of detail, as in when I did my research. I wrote everything I could. It's just reading it back. There's so much just fluff, as in not that I've put in, that's from the actual thing. Strange New Worlds is the heading for this one. So this is just the planet, Primatoria. It sounds like some kind of strange pasta, but it's actually a large planet close to the three suns, tropical, filled with dinosaurs. At Argon, a planet that is inhabited by a race of Yum-Yucks. Oh. The moons of Argon, yep, they exist. New Canaan, the Royal Triaxian Palace, NORAD, NORAD, a skull-shaped planet, which obviously became Nordor.
Yeah.
A skull-shaped planet, much farther from the free stars' life-giving light and warmth. It is icy, forbidding, the perfect place for Skeletor to set up his headquarters. The planet is inhabited by cadaverous-looking ice creatures with powerful pincer claws. Skeletor is delighted to make them his slaves when he invades. Yep. So yeah, here's what I wrote about the talking sword. So this is amongst other things. The way in which He-Man acquires the new sword of power is something that is described in numerous ways. So obviously they went through a few versions. In one scenario, Adam locates the sword in a cave on the planet Primatoria. Another situation has the sorceress present Adam with the sword prior to his journey into the future. A third option has the sword located on the starship Eternia itself, with Adam having to battle Darius in order to prove that he is worthy of obtaining the sword. In this final scenario, once he has proved his worth by saving the life of Darius, he holds up the ultimate sword of power and commands, "Let the power be mine," and transforms into He-Man. Okay. By far the most unique and somewhat disturbing of the scenario has Adam and Darius locate the sword on the planet Titania. They discover the sword of power in a large crystal rock. Darius, who is very much like Man-at-Arms in this particular script, struggles and strains to pull the sword out of the crystal. Adam grabs the sword handle and says, "By the powers of past and future joined, I have the power." Adam is transformed into He-Man, much to Darius' surprise. However, the pair are both stunned when they hear another voice within the cave. The voice turns out to be that of the Sword of Power. Below is an example. I actually wrote the dialogue. This is my He-Man voice. "So you talk, do you? The sword." "Of course I talk. Why wouldn't I? And it's about time somebody got me out of that rock. But I wasn't expecting He-Man to do it." "Darius, you've heard of him?" "The sword. Everyone's heard of He-Man, but I thought he'd be bigger." "He-Man, sorry to disappoint you. Don't worry, I'll get over it." And you know I'm doing the voice they would have used.
Yeah, and you sound just like the comic keeper. So that's I get props to doing such a perfect impression. But God, yeah, it just
Here we go. Not only was this is what I wrote afterwards. Not only was that the kind of dialogue the sword would spout, but it would.
Like, does he? Is his dialogue written like Zagraz, or is it? I mean, does it? Oh,
Joe is going to wet himself. Ready?
I think Joe's going to sink deeper into his seat.
Not only was that the kind of dialogue the sword would spout, but the sword would also have a nose, 2 eyes, and a mouth.
Oh fuck! God damn it!
Oh god. Anyway,
somebody's got to draw it up now. Now you got to animate this. Somebody's got to make a picture of this. I have got to see this horrible.
Return of Faker. We're going to do the Masters of Space.
Oh Jesus! That is an Easter egg. Everybody's like, what the hell's that in the background? You have like a rack of all these weapons. It's this shitty sword.
Yeah, there should be like a singing sword somewhere thrown in. Just.
At one point, no reason. In the battle, Faker pulls out a sword, and it's the singing sword. Yeah, it's like Roger Rabbit.
My God.
So, Filmation were planning to do a 5-part origin story, because obviously they've done it with She-Ra and Filmation's Ghostbusters. So we're going to do that with this. So episode 1 was going to be called The Last Battle. Okay, I might as well read it. The episode begins with He-Man and Skeletor locked in a furious battle to the finish. Skeletor looks as though he has the upper hand until a clever maneuver by He-Man blasts Skeletor through a space portal and into another dimension. With the victory over evil at last achieved, peace comes to Eternia. However, the beauty of this is, I love the idea that as awful as what we've just heard is, as in the talking sword, can you imagine like these scenes would have all been Filmation though? So like the idea of with victory over last achieved, the sorceress appears before Adam and tells him that he and the universe faces the most serious threat that they have ever seen. The sorceress then conjures a visual image of Skeletor on the other side of the portal in a future galaxy far away, now based on the planet Norad, gathering new villains. The sorceress asks Adam that if he is there is no way. Oh, the sorceress asks Adam if there were a way he could follow Skeletor, would he, even if it means never being able to return to Eternia? Adam ponders, and then obviously says, "Let's do this." So then the sorceress. This is the interesting part. The sorceress says she will now reveal the most powerful secret of Castle Grayskull. It's not the sword. The sorceress instructs Adam to withdraw the sword of power. As he does so, the ground begins to rumble, and massive streaks of lightning dart across the sky. The sorceress commands Adam to hurl the sword of power into the wall of Castle Grayskull. The ground around Castle Grayskull bubbles, rolls, and finally erupts, and the smoke, flashing lights, and ashes gradually clear as the starship Eternia rises from the ruins of Castle Grayskull. That was actually something that they illustrated there. Can you see that?
I've seen that before too.
Yeah. That one's been a public image. So that was, they did like, if anybody else hasn't seen it, it's Castle Grayskull split in two. With
might be the only cool thing from this whole pitch so far is just that image right there. Yeah.
There was like I think about 4 images. So yeah, the sword splits. Oh wow, here's something I forgot. That wasn't in the fire. Okay. So yeah, Starship Eternia rises. The sorceress's father, Darius, materializes outside of the ship in a blaze of light and turns the ship over to Adam. An excited Orca asks if he can accompany Adam. Yeah, sure, why not? The sorceress bids Adam farewell and he heads to the future. Yeah, episode 2. As the Starship Eternia races through a long, bright tunnel, Adam loses control and is unable to locate Darius. There's a lot of like padding to this story.
Well, I'll tell you what, honestly, like you said, you don't have to give every bit, but to be honest, now, is that still available for purchase? Because you can tell fans where to go if they'd like to purchase that issue, because there's still probably a lot of good content that I'm sure they'd like to see.
Yeah. I mean, there's still a lot of bad content, but yeah. It's
No, I didn't mean that. I just meant, we were having fun with like just shitting around with the one thing, but I mean, no, that's just, it's an amazing thing to have. So just tell everybody where they can get it. And of course, we'll pop a link eventually.
Yeah, if you get issue 14 of Serial Geek, so you can get it on, I haven't used it in a while. My He-Man and She-Ra shop is still a thing. So if you go to www.hemanshirashop.com, you can get this issue and issue 13 as well, which are kind of the He-Man and She-Ra issues. But like in here, I've also got this was like my golden book homage to. It was a 2-part She-Ra story. I'm not going to show part. I'm not going to show. There's too many spoilers in here if I do show. But the secret's out, parts 1 and 2. And this was like, I did it as like a golden.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Too much because I can spoil. This is like a Dora looking out. Because part 1 ends with like, again, this would be something I'd love to turn into an episode because it's a fan story that I wrote in the 90s. When we were on the news groups and stuff on the mailing list, and people loved it, and I kept it around for years, and then eventually turned it into this. You can't really see it here. That's Dora talking to.
No, it looks great. My question is now, how many issues could they buy? Different issues could they buy off of your website?
I think on the He-Man She-Ra shop, there's 7 issues, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, sorry, 7, 8, 9, 10. 12, 13, 14. So like 8 issues. If you go yeah, go on.
I mean, because basically what I want to say is, for a lot of the fans who didn't know you did Serial Geek, who might be new to this, or who have, didn't know about you and didn't know about Serial Geek, or maybe who have known about you but never knew about it. It's their way of finally, getting copies of that, along with, is Serial Geek something that you'd like to continue or start again? Because I didn't know if you're still doing it or progress on that.
I'm trying to get the last 2 issues out this year. That's my goal, because people pre-ordered those issues. We're talking 4 or 5 years ago, and there've been some very patient people. The problem is in between when people started pre-ordering issues 15 and 16, I took Serial Geek to Comic-Con, and that story is, if not relatively well known, not one worth repeating. Where basically,
I remember you making a statement about that.
And it was basically like Serial Geek bombed out in San Diego Comic-Con because nobody at San Diego Comic-Con buys comics or magazines. They go to dress up, which is fine. I don't mind.
No, it's bullshit. I think it is.
The Comic-Con I first went to San Diego in 2005, 2006 when we were doing the He-Man DVDs, and it was such a different convention. There were people still dressing up, but people were still buying stuff. And then when I went in 2014 with Serial Geek, nobody was buying stuff. To the point where Mile High Comics have been doing the Comic-Con since the 70s, or when it first started, and I think that was their last ever one. They said, nobody's coming to buy our stuff anymore. Nobody's here to buy. They're here to have a good time and connect with people. That's fine. But if you go there as a business, you're plumb out of luck. But yeah, Serial Geek, the short and sweet of it is 2 more issues to come, and it's just a magazine about 80s cartoons. So it's 100 pages, glossy pages, cover stuff like.
Well, that's a hell of a lot to get. I mean.
Oh yeah. Like Dungeons and Dragons, Inspector Gadget. I talk about the Inspector Gadget pilot.
Just to let,
sorry.
I was going to let you know, Nathan did pop up the link to the page right here in the comments. And after, of course, we're done with the video, we'll put the link in when we do the refresh of the whole video and put anybody else.
He's done some cool art because I bought 2 copies. I bought one that features James's take on the Marvel animation, which covers Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Pride of the X-Men and all that. And then I remember I bought one in particular. It's the one that I can't remember what number it is, but the one with She-Ra have with the punch face on the cover.
Oh, that's the first.
I got that one.
Yes, what I thought. Where you talk about the Star Marvel comics.
Oh no, that one the Star Marvel comics was that
the Amazing Friends issue?
Yeah, I think that's the same one because that was my comics issue. Yeah, I think that was maybe issue 5 or 6. Yeah,
it was an earlier issue, but that was where I first saw at that time the one shot from the unproduced Star Marvel comic that had He-Man slicing through a Batman.
Oh yeah,
One Piece. Great I bought it specifically for that. Like I thought, oh my god, I have to have this image. And I read those articles like back and forth, both issues, and had different intentions of buying more too. But it was just and that's my fault for not making a priority because they are some really interesting articles and kick-ass artwork. Like it's fun. It did too. I forgot what issue where you got Egon and Man at Arms. On something, which I thought was really cool. So it's just really cool to see all these cool characters that you splice together from an assortment. Like there's an article with Larry DiTillio too, and I forgot.
Yeah, he did an interview in the first issue. I think that was. Yeah, he did an interview, and I even had like Rob Lamb, who's written for He-Man, write an article or like a little thing about a team up because you do unlikely team ups, and we did a team up between Thunderstick from Bravestar and Trapjaw, obviously the
Oh,
robot.
that's awesome. Yeah.
And Rob Lamb wrote that little couple, a few paragraphs of text for it. I was like, that's awesome. But yeah, people. I remember when I went out to LA one year, and I can't remember if I think it was Larry DiTilio, and he was saying, obviously a lot of the writers on He-Man and worked on a lot of those 80s shows would all meet up and have little gaming sessions and stuff. They're all geeks, all those guys. And he said that people, like all the guys, knew about Serial Geek, and I was like, oh, it's so weird. It's like the idea that my magazine was being read by the people that worked in the industry all those years ago. So I was like, that's pretty cool. But so Serial Geek still got to get it going. But yeah, it's at the moment, not, I wouldn't say in hiatus, but just it'll be back at some point, but not for too long, I don't think. But like, I think when the Return of Faker's done, that'll be my next. Let's get this out of the way because people have been waiting for this, and I want to do the last 2 issues because in one of the last 2 issues, I want to do the article about the He-Man video game that Filmation had planned, which was the most complicated video game ever, where it's like a video game, not as in a computer game or like this, as in you pop a tape in and you play a board game, and it would be a Filmation cartoon, and it would all be it would have a timer on, and you'd have to go back and forward, like roll the dice, go to this part of the tape, and this script is huge. It's like 90 something pages, and it uses scenes from previous episodes with lots of new dialogue. I think they were going to do Skeletor's Revenge, where you take existing footage and then put in a bunch of new stuff as well. He-Man talking to the audience. But the game itself, the board game, was crazy. They did actually advertise the board game in one of the Mattel catalogs, so it did come close to some sort of production.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they never went anywhere. They were going to do this board/video game, and you can see there's I can send you a link, an image at some point of this. Yeah, like this it's like, hey kids, and they were going to do a She-Ra one as well, but I never saw the script for that. But my friend Lee in America owns the He-Man script. He was like, do you want a copy? I was like, yeah, sure, man. And it's huge, and the game is so. We sat there. I think Lee did. He sat there and tried to understand it. And even I think Dusan, I sent him it, and he was like, "I'm going to try and figure it." And he was just like, confusing.
I was just going to say, not to interrupt, but that it sounds pretty cool because there was 2 games. I honestly couldn't, remember the names of them, but I remember as a kid, the whole family would play one where you would put in a tape, and then they would tell you to pause, and then it would like ask a question. Then we had to see if we remembered what something said, or it would like go black. Another one was something where it did say, okay, hit pause, try to remember this, roll this. Now fast forward to the 22.31 mark, and then okay, that sounds like it would have been interesting because I remember those games.
I think like based on that, but when you read the instructions for it, it's almost like, place card X next to the man-at-arms mate. It's like, what am I doing? It's like, and it's right. For kids. So just kids will be crying, going, "I want to watch the cartoon." No, you can't watch the cartoon. You've got to play the game. So it looked like something fun or interesting. It's a unique little piece of history. Just this random script. The other thing I've got somewhere, I don't know where it is. It's I found when I was in one of the warehouses. I think this was when it was in San Diego. I found a 2-page storyboard that Filmation done for the Attack track, but it was the Filmation Attack track, and it was going to be for like an advert. I was like, oh, were they planning to make a toy? Why did they? And it says Mattel advert Attack track, and it's the Filmation Attack track going over the things and going around corners and stuff. I was like, what was that for? So yeah.
That sounds
very
different.
Cool.
All right. Well, now I'm going to pass it, James, to Tyler, because Tyler's going to put us into the final segment of the show before obviously we let fans ask any questions. But Tyler, I'm passing it to you, bud.
Okay. We're going to do a commentary for Teela's Quest from season 1. I'm going to be using the official He-Man YouTube channel. That's the link that I'm using. I'm assuming Nathan probably put that up.
Tell me when to play it. I'll just get it up now.
Okay.
It's quite funny. The only time I ever go back to the official He-Man channel is just to source episodes. I've got an advert playing, of course. Oh, will the adverts kick in though?
If there's another one we can use, because I have YouTube Red, so I don't have to worry about the
advertisements. Yeah.
Let me see if there's another one here. Because
I can always like just skip around, play around. It'd be fine. Actually, I'll just use the official one.
Well, I was gonna say, if we use I was gonna say, what about your commentary? Is there commercials there in
Is
that one?
they can put adverts on that from the looks of it. Yeah, it's fine. I'll just. Well, could I play? Wait a sec. Let me think. My brain's trying to work here. Because when I worked for the official YouTube channel, they gave me all the episodes on a hard disk.
Yeah.
I might. Could I just play that? That would probably make more sense. Yeah. Let me just do that.
Okay.
My powerful hard drive. Where is it? I can't find it now.
Joe, is yours going to have commercials in it too?
No, I made. Well, remember when I did the free YouTube Red for Cobra Kai? I got that for another month, so I'm commercial free for at least, I don't know, X amount of days.
I figured you'd probably cancel the hell out of that. Like, I ain't paying attention.
Oh no, you know what's funny? Hey, once you cancel it though, they still have it going to like another couple weeks. So I still got another couple of weeks on it. Okay. So I'm good. Yeah, this is like, hey, and I do get kind of addicted to it. Like you said, when you get YouTube Red, you don't have to worry about any advertisements. And that is kind of a great thing to not see.
Well, especially now that YouTube has started putting 2 adverts back to back. So when you start YouTube, you get like a 7-second video followed by a 6-second advert, and you can't skip them. It's just like, oh,
right. Yeah, I can't.
Okay, so I've got. Let me get this going. He-Man episode 6.
I hope my connection stays because a big storm has started kicking up. I heard it a little bit ago. I wanted to make sure, so I hope I don't get kicked off.
Okay, right. I've got. Excuse me. I've got. I've got it lined up. So yeah, I'm ready when you gents are.
All right, I'll just count down. 3, 2, 1, action. I want to ask you too, James. Like, do you revisit a lot of these episodes in your spare time, or have just they pretty much embedded in your brain? Aside from working on the Faker project,
I was going to say that the Return of Faker pretty much has all my time taken up. The only time, actually, no, that's a good question. The only time I'm revisiting them at the moment is when I think, like I say, up until maybe a week, 2 weeks ago, I was still tweaking dialogue. And so I would just go back through the episodes and go, maybe I could use that instead. So I have been going back to and from, and then maybe the odd sequence where I said to do saying, oh, maybe let's change this instead of that, or maybe have that shot of He-Man posed that way instead of that. So I do go back, but I haven't sat down properly and gone, right, let me watch an episode of He-Man. That hasn't happened in a long time. But me sitting here watching Teela's Quest is that's quite a rarity, as it were. And one episode that I always tell people, everybody knows this one. Casual fans. I always tell the story when I worked at the civil service. I remember being in the pub after work one night, and people found out that I was. This was when people found out I just wrote He-Man website stuff before I'd even worked on the brand. And there was a group of people, and at least 2 of the people said, "Oh, wasn't there an episode where the Teela finds her mum and stuff?" And so people knew that, and the other episode people all knew was Orko had a female Orko. So it's Dawn of Dragoon and Teela's Quest kind of. I always said Teela's Quest is the one episode, or probably the episode of the series that transcends the show, where everybody knows this origin story. It's such a beautiful story. Like the opening.
It is.
By the way, a quick side note: that's the character that we should have gotten figure form. That would have looked much better to have that Captain Marlena Glenn as an action figure instead of the one with the green. I wasn't a big fan of it. I understand the aesthetics of like how you see it from the outfit to that, but I'd have preferred.
I always wanted, the white astronaut outfit. It's pretty badass. But yeah, it's what I always loved about this opening scene was just it's. I always use the term Saturday morning cartoon, even though obviously it was a syndicated show. But it's the opening of Teela's Quest. This scene is just. I mean, one, it's all Paul Dini dialogue, but you just have Adam and Queen Marlena, his mum, just talking, and it's such a beautifully, even with the music, it's just so perfect. If you want to show someone the series that's going to be so cynical of it, it's like, watch this. It is a mother and son talking, and it's all natural, and it's just so perfect. And then when Teela pops in, it's like, oh, by the way, the woman voicing the Queen also voices Teela. People are like, wait, what? And it's just Linda Gary's ability to voice, and she voices the sorceress in this episode, the ability to have 3 distinct voices. There's no similar tones, of course, because no voice actress can truly disguise the voice 100%. But the way she plays Marlena is so different to the way she plays Teela and the sorceress. And I always love this scene, just so beautiful.
I dare say that sequence we just watched is arguably the most touching scene of the series, next to He-Man's first encounter with Grandmere. Like I associate those two, and this episode, especially at the end with the sorceress giving her moment with Teela before she wipes her memory. Like I like, even as a kid, I found that to be very touching. Like, it didn't bring me to tears. As an adult, I find it even more emotionally touching. But as a kid, it was, and the music too. Like, that was what was so good about this, is music we've heard in various episodes used at the right time has so much more of a higher impact, I think.
I always thought, I mean, even as a kid watching this, I always thought it would have been really good. I've said this before in a few commentaries, where if Teela put on the memory thing, and then you see Prince Adam as He-Man doing stuff, and she'd be like, "Why are you seeing?" Because obviously it's a memory thing. Where were you this morning? It's like, fighting evil. It should have been like really confused. But yeah, I mean, the opening scenes of Teela's quest, like, we've gone from mother son to son and best friend in Teela, to now we've got Man-at-Arms and Orko, so you get that dynamic, and then we get Man-at-Arms father-daughter dynamic. So it's like literally every, and it's just all dialogue. I mean, don't get me wrong, you've got these comedic scenes and how they play, but it is just character building.
It's like watching a day at the palace. Like, this is what kind of goes on.
They call this episode AKA A Day at the Palace, because it really is just people going about their own lives. Yes, there are some MacGuffins like testing the memory projector, or making a magic box, music box. But yeah, it works so perfectly. And it's the way they used to play, in these initial episodes. I love the fact that Man-at-Arms was so gruff. This Man-at-Arms doesn't take shit.
Those numbers, by chance, did they represent anything? Because I know you're a fountain of knowledge.
Just random.
Oh, okay.
But I always love the idea that Orko makes a magic. I'm going to make a music box and makes a bomb. Just genius. And this gag I always thought was so good. It's basic storytelling, but it's done with such heart. That was the beauty of especially a lot of the early season episodes, is the writers clearly enjoyed what they were doing, and it's like, let's go for it.
I love Orko's mentality. Like, his whole attitude is like, oh well, and just so laid back about what he's doing. Like, it's and he's not in it for very long, but God, is he written so well. In this.
And I also like that shot of Man-at-Arms breaking the fourth wall, where like the music box goes past him and he turns to the camera, and it's like, wow, you don't. Yes, the fourth wall break happens always in the moral segment, but it rarely, He-Man's "Anybody Want to Buy a Used Bolo" and a few other things. I actually purposely, and again, it's that did a fourth wall. There's a fourth wall break in The Return of Faker, and you'll know it when you see it. But it's just so, and it's not from a previous existing one. Again, it's using the dialogue in a different way, and it's like, oh, okay. So
that's cool.
And that part right here, I always liked. I mean, when she's wanting to know about her family, and you hear about her father, like dying, but the secret of a mother, and maybe one day it's just it's touching. It's just sad, to know that she wants to know about her real parents, and she's seen the relationship with Adam, obviously, and his mother. And
Alan does a good job of delivering Man-at-Arms' dialogue right there. Like, he, it's short, but I mean, everything. Like, everyone really saw like the potential in the script, because there's such care in addressing how this character would really respond to the situation. It's not just a flat line reading the dialogue. It just, I really feel like, I mean, everything, everybody. I mean, and Linda Gay steals the show too.
I can say Teela's voice in that bit where she's doing like the self narration, which is that's something like that's kind of script writing in a certain way, but it's just so softly spoken and feels very natural.
Yeah, exactly.
And Orko's line there when he turns up and he's like, "Did Cringy use your shield as a water dish?" Which is another great line, because you just immediately picture that scene. You don't have to have seen it to know that she would have been like, "What the hell?" To have that. Yeah. Again, it builds up a world without having to show it, and it's brilliant.
What's good about this too is because James, I know you like Orko, and so does Joe, and I really love that he's portrayed like the way he should have been in every episode.
Yeah,
a very caring and not a nimwit or a child all the time. Like, he's an equal to them. He's just he's rambunctious to a certain extent, and we all know somebody who's like that. And I like that he's played it like an equal, essentially.
Yeah, that was the best Orko was always the one that wasn't a child. Well, he was a child, but he wasn't. Yeah, like Dawn of Dragoon is the ultimate Orko, if you ask me.
Oh, it is without a doubt.
Written, and like it's funny you see Orko without the ears. That was something a lot of the storyboard artists did if you go back to the first shot of Orko there. Yeah, a lot of the early ones, he just, for some reason, the storyboard artist never gave him ears. It was a really bizarre thing. It's quite funny as well. Coming up is like the shot of Adam with a sword over his head. A lot of the shots from this episode ended up as promotional images for the series, like Tila doing that walk throughout the palace. This one of Prince Adam holding the sword was used as one of the publicity shots, raised above his head. I actually own that background, the big pan of the cavern.
Oh yeah.
It's utterly pointless to own it, but I remember just thinking, oh, I know what that's from. I'm going to get that because it's from the publicity thing. So yeah, I remember watching this as a kid on a Sunday morning because He-Man was ever only shown twice in the UK, as in once and then reruns over the space of about 7 or 8 years. So if you missed an episode, you wouldn't get to see it for another like 3 or 4 years.
Oh wow!
So I think I must have seen Teela's Quest the first time around, but don't recall it. So the next time I saw it technically the first time was like 1987 when they started rerunning the series. And I remember watching this like early on a Sunday morning, just thinking this is the greatest thing ever. Because also this was the episode from the sticker album, and I was like,
yeah,
this is the sticker album episode. Again, serious Skeletor, serious Merman as well.
Very.
Like Merman, because he doesn't make that many appearances in the series. Like Search for the VHO, he's pretty serious in that. But as soon as those writers, and I forgive them for it, and I totally understand. As soon as those writers discovered a certain way to write for the villains, they went in that direction, which is fair enough. It's like, well, let's keep them serious, but play them for giggles every once in a while.
Yeah. Boy, do I love this music, James. This is the music that I always love. So spooky and eerie. It just drew you in the scene.
Yeah. And the sound of the Shadow Beast scuffling off, to come get it. Like all these sounds and the shriek, that shrieking noise I'm always associated with the Shadow Beast first, even though you'd hear it multiple times throughout the show.
The other thing I remember reading about when they designed the Crystal Sea, the backgrounds here, originally they didn't want to have, you can see there's the line art, the typical Filmation thing where they drew the black outline on the backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
When they reused when they came to do the backgrounds again for the Dragon's Gift, they decided, I think it was Robert Lamb said, can we not do the black line art, so we just have pure crystal backgrounds? So originally they were going to do that with this, but Filmation were like, no, let's do like outlines. But then, for the Dragon's Gift, they shifted it. This is one of my favorite transitions as well, when Teela says, and now back to business.
Yeah.
The build up and the big He-Man transition. Again, did something very similar in The Return of Faker. Actually did something exactly the same in The Return of Faker. Because I was like, I want that transition. But
so I like how James notices things like that, because that's how I always look at the show. Like just different touches like that, which you don't see that often in the show. Like a variety in transitions. Like it's just stuff that, because some of these episodes repeat the same thing, which is great, because when they mix it up just a little bit, you never forget it.
There's something. Oh my goodness, it's going to kill me. Oh my god! So we're looking at the Oracle of the Crystal Sea, which is an amazing scene. Bruce Timm did a lot of the layout for this. Bruce Timm of Batman animated series.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, he did quite a lot of layout for this episode. So I've got sketches where he's designed but he did a lot of the layout there, where she walks in a shot and the Oracle's there and a lot of the close-ups. Oh my goodness, it's going to kill me if I don't remember his name. Dusan, if you're in the chat, what's the actor's name that the Oracle is based on? It was about a few years ago, and I was like, oh my god, it's him. And Dusan was like, oh, you're totally right.
Is he supposed to be based off of that one guy in Clash of the Titans?
Olivier?
No. Think of a horror actor. Classic.
Vincent Price?
Vincent Price.
Really?
Oh, we both, all three of us at the same time said Vincent Price. How bizarre is that?
Yeah, no, it's Vincent Price. And it was something I didn't clock for years, and I don't even know if I put it in the Dark Horse Guide. But I remember watching it, and I said to Dusan, if you notice that the Oracle of Vincent Price, he's like, it's Vincent Price. I was like, I know. How did we know? Also randomly, I own the background. I forget. I'm not. This isn't me showing off. I own that background. This long pan here, where you see all the way down.
Yeah.
Afterwards, I'll get it out, as they say. because it's just to the left of me. I've just got to get out of a big folder. But you can see how it looks. I got my friend
Oh, that's awesome.
years ago, and she's 5'2", and it's about 3/4 of her height. It's amazing.
Wow.
It's so good.
Wow.
But yeah, again, I think Tyler knows what I'm talking about. It's one of my favorite little moments.
This creeped me out as a kid. Like,
it's so well done.
That was awesome.
Each time the camera just, you look at those 3 shots, camera trucks in every time. It's just so, again, Filmations. Like, we could just do transit like that, or just zoom in, because it just makes it look so much more dramatic.
So that's what bothers me, though. Like, knowing, like, I mean, I've often wondered, like, if these guys like saw these episodes completely, oh, this is great. Like, we can tell real serious stories here, and I just, and I've always been bothered. I you know, you made your mentions about season 2. Just, it's such a shame that the tone could not be sustained throughout the show. Like season 1, I think the vast majority, you know, is like this, but this really pushes the limits of a very, very serious tone.
Absolutely.
I really wish it could have been maintained and not felt like that we had to brighten it up for all the people who thought this was a show teaching kids how to, you know, raise the devil.
Yeah, raise the devil. If you had the right spells, of course.
Well, of course. But I also like too that, you know, like in to save Skeletor and the Cosmic Comic, you know, when they're you know, using incantations and things like that too, just touches like that. But and this effect too of the crystal ball like glowing in front of Battle Cat.
Filmation's special effects were something amazing. They were so good at that. It's ridiculous. Me and Dusan always like to joke about lazy Filmation whenever we're working on something really hard. Just like, oh yeah, lazy Filmation. Annoyingly, my video stopped. So, as in the video I'm watching of the episode. What shot are we on now? What scene?
Where Merman is talking to Teela and there's silhouette of them.
Let me know when he holds up the Crimson Pearl, if he's done that already.
Not yet.
He's going to be doing
that now.
It's in his hand,
Crimson Pearl.
Crimson Pearl. Okay, so I'm there now. I might be about a second behind. So yes, Teela's
at least. Yeah, now you're getting the Clash of the Titans vibe with this whole scene here. But you know what I also liked about that is when he mentioned it about being 20 years ago. Yeah. This is for people who always said, you know, Teela's 16 in the cartoon, so is Adam. I was like, well, right there, you know, she's 20 years old. At least if that makes sense, because 20 years ago,
yeah, because
this is like the one episode my dad would quote because he always remembered Merman saying "Bakul." Like that was just one thing my dad remembered because I watched the hell out of the Greatest Adventures of All VHS tape.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And I'd watched all 3 episodes. It was never like watch one. I would sit and watch all 3, and he always remembered Bakul and the way Merman would say it, and he would try to do his best Merman impression. It just for whatever reason, it just stuck out to him, and probably not in the you know. He didn't say well. He would just say it in a joking manner, but it was his way of saying, "God, you watch that tape a lot."
I think it's such a shame that the Fishmen never came back. They're always like,
yeah, they were, and they're very unique looking too. Like it's fun to think of these evil warriors like they work for Skeletor, but they have minions of their own. Like it's like a lineup of power almost.
Yeah, like the Ladybird books had the Beastman, Beastman had like his own Beastmen. And Merman in those books had his own like fishmen, but didn't look nothing like these ones.
It's done like Golden Books too. Like Beastman has like his own like demon armor. They are all orange.
Right, yeah. That's one of my favorite mistakes coming up here. Not one they often made actually. Filmation often get a bad rap for the continuity was bad. It's like this is probably the worst one when he throws the sword and then he actually says, "Teela, use my sword," and it's on his back. Use my sword.
Yeah.
That happens. On the wall. But that was an awesome visual. I always loved seeing Teela with the sword.
Yeah.
I own this cell setup as well, the one of He-Man, Teela, and Battle Cat with Teela holding the sword, which was used on so mmany things. Yep. And randomly, I picked it at one of the warehouses. I was like, I think I'll take that.
Merman fell for the old thing again. This is what cracks up is here. The poor thing just shattered. I was like, well, that's some cheap craftsmanship. Earlier it survived 20 years ago.
I always found for some reason as an adult, like when Merman says "obey your master and destroy them," and the He-Man thing kicks in and Zoar grabs it, I just thought, God, that's exciting. Just that whole package.
Yeah. I feel sorry. I always think here, He-Man nearly kills Merman.
I was like, it's a way of saying, you know what, you put me through all this shit, so I'm going to save you, but you're going to get a good beating on the head for it.
I just love the way Merman land like ducks and rolls. It's like that's how you survive one of those falls.
Right.
But again, this the climactic battle with Bakul. Because I remember that was the other thing in the script. I remember the Crystal Sea, that all the water was supposed to be like black and foreboding, but then they just used simple water, which I don't have a problem with. And yeah, in typical Filmation fashion, which I totally understand why they said it. He says, maybe this will hold Bakul for another 20 years, as opposed to I just killed him.
Yeah,
I like when you say
right.
sorry, big fella, too. Like, just acknowledging. But I can appreciate that because that's the mentality of the character. Like, he's going to beat your ass, but he's also not out to really harm you either.
No, exactly.
I like that, though. I don't feel like it's that. I feel like that's a character trait He-Man needs to maintain.
And here comes that part, that final piece you wanted to know and see.
God, I love this whole sequence. The music is so good here.
I love the way Zor just like looks down every once in a while. Like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's my child. Man, I was like, but you're a bird. Don't ask questions. But it's so simple. It's like so visually simple, but so beautiful at the same time.
And now, I don't want to say too much because I don't like but knowing that the sorceress, shows up in her human form here, it's one of those few occasions, but I feel like the logic behind it, you never would really question it because I almost feel like it's something that
going, well, she's not allowed to. I'm like, I don't care if it breaks continuity. It breaks continuity and creates like probably the best scene in the cartoon. Because for me, I think I have said it's a toss up between this and the Problem with Power, as in the most kind of striking scenes in the series.
Yeah,
this one I think often winning because it is just so kind of plucking on the heartstrings. And that line at the end is just such a beautiful line. I've had lots of practice. Of course you have, He-Man. You lie to everybody. And also, what an epic ending! Like them, him riding off, into her flying away, and him riding off. Her in the Wind Raider going, "Where am I going? How did I get here?"
It's a masterpiece. I'm glad it. I mean, I like when they did that top 10 episode for the DVD before the actual seasons came out. I was glad to see it was ranked so high by the fans, like number 1, I think it was on that top 10 DVD.
Oh yeah, I mean it has to be. It is still the episode. Like I said, it is one that just transcends the series. Every cartoon, I think, if you look hard enough, does have that one episode where you're like, well, this is this is the definitive one. Not necessarily the one you always think of, but this is the one that you could point someone to and be like, watch this. And they'll be like, oh, that was amazing. So yeah, I just think, it's like Teala'c Quest has no right to be in a He-Man cartoon, in a cartoon called He-Man, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's a kid's cartoon, and yet if that was done with live action actors, it'd be winning BAFTA awards or Oscars or whatever, because it is such a powerful piece of television writing. But guess what? It's a kid's cartoon, so it's like, oh yeah, that was cute. But for the rest of us that have sat through and watched that and been like, that was amazing. Just for fun, not to change the pace, I'm not going to send this to Joe because I don't want any spoilers, but I'm just going to send Tyler a little rough animation I did just to show him something from Return of Faker, and he'll watch it and we'll see his reaction to it when he comes back.
All right. Well, I was going to say, while you send that to him, I did want to acknowledge Adam Gabbard, Aaron Voorhees, and Sportimus, who joined us, and JSP in the chat room while we were doing that. Thank you. And now, again, while he's getting sent that, for all of you, if you have any questions that you want to ask James or us, pop it up in the chat room now, and we'll get to them. But in the meantime, yes, you go ahead and send it off the channel, and we'll get his reaction.
Awesome.
There you go.
That's really cool.
And I'll send you one more. Again, keep these to yourself.
No, these stay between you and me, bud. I don't share this with anybody.
Let me just.
I'm honored that you have shared some of this stuff over the last couple of years with me and Joe. So, yeah, that was beautiful.
Okay, let me just run that one, or I'm just finding another one to send you. I'm just basically sending Tyler rough animation clips from Return of Faker, just a couple of the action ones. Again, nothing spoilery, but just so you can see what's going on.
I mean, He-Man rips off Trapjaw's jaw, Joe, but it doesn't affect the story.
Yeah, right.
What's that one? I just want to make sure I don't send you the wrong one or something. And you're like, oh, you just spoiled the ending. Oh.
I wouldn't be upset about that at all. Like I'm not Joe. He's gonna flip over the table and podcast is over and you never see him again.
Well, hey, I was going to say, yeah, exactly. Well, while you're saying that, Grimbot did want to mention one thing. He said to Fedmon in the chat room, said, Adam's 18 in season 1 of Filmation. Teela's been portrayed as even as older, even later in Battle Cat flashback. But yeah, so I guess, I guess the point was for everybody that thought at least that she was 16 and Adam was 16. Well, he's going there. He's flipping on that too.
That's cool. Oh, that's badass, man.
But at least they're not 16 people, so at least we know that. Oh, yeah, I can't look at any of this stuff that you're seeing. I can't see any of this stuff.
Oh, you could if you weren't such a wiener about it.
It's like Jonah's fucking not wanting to see anything. Yeah.
But yeah, those are what I just sent. I would like just two little bits of because this isn't a spoiler. This is just a fact. The fight between Faker and He-Man probably lasts for about, God, I'm gonna say like 5 or 6 minutes. It's
got a good meaty fight then.
Oh yeah. It's a lot goes into it. It's not just like there's, as you can see, stuff.
It's not like the shaping staff where it's stop. No,
it's not like. There might be a rock or two chucked, but beyond that, it's a very physical. Because one thing I wanted is you're one thing about He-Man, like only fight when I'm asked, and each time last time. So to make an exciting fight between He-Man and Faker, it's like, what do I do? Well, he's a robot, so He-Man's going to punch the shit out of him. It's simple as that. That was my attitude. It's like, because he's a robot,
yeah,
he can do a few things that he probably wouldn't.
I was wondering if you guys were going to do that, because there isn't a whole lot of sequences of actual He-Man punching, other characters, but he's punching objects and things. So I was wondering if that's something you guys would use to incorporate in a one-on-one fisticuffs fight with Faker.
Oh yeah, no, I mean there's some, and like I said, I was watching a cartoon the other month and I thought, oh, this might work for He-Man and Faker, and yeah, it'll be the last thing I think Doosan animates, because it is quite a big sequence, but when it's in there, it'll be worth it. And like I say, if we can get a few of those bits, like what I just sent you, in the trailer, you put that in the trailer and people are like, wait a second, that's very good. And that's just the rough animation as well, Tom. That's just my
God. It looks so cool, man. I mean, what I'm watching, Joe, is just a snippet of the fight.
Okay.
Yeah, and because at first I was like, which one was which, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. I like that's I can't wait to see that with the proper pink with all the chest harness and everything. Oh,
one of the things is when I if I'm coloring something, like I'll send a bunch to Andrew Kramer. He'll color. He's been coloring machine. I'll color some pieces myself. When I color, that's the funny thing as well. I'm sending, like, Andrew Kramer. He colors a lot of the stuff. There's certain things I'm not sending him because I don't want to spoil it for him as well. But Jason and I, we're spoiled completely. We won't be able to ever enjoy this in terms of, wow, that was an amazing shock because we came up with it, But with regards to that, I was like, I want Andrew Kramer, the guy who coloured most of this, to sit down and go, oh wow, and him to be surprised by it as well. So.
Are there moments that you two are really, really eager to see people's reaction to, like certain moments?
Like I said, there's definitely about 4 or 5 scenes in Act 2 where I'm sure PowerCon will do it again, but if they don't record the audience, I will, because there's, like I say, 4 or 5 scenes in Act 2 where people will, I think, gasp at least 3 times definitely, where people were like, oh, there will be that. And given the reactions when we showed Act 1, a lot of the clapping and applause and the whooping and all that, Act 2 there will be a lot of like gasps, and there'll be equal amounts of cheering. But yeah, and like I said, I think by the end, it sounds so arrogant to say, but I think there will be
do not even think about calling yourself that, dude. You have earned every bit of praise that you've gotten over the years from the early days of the episode review website to today. So it is not arrogant to feel this way about something that's going to kick so much ass. People ought to be kissing your ass when all this is said and done. You and Deucin, Andrew, Yuka, everybody who's worked on this project deserves the highest of praise. You guys especially, because you guys have really got the ball rolling. So don't. I know you're humble. You're a humble person too, but you should be proud as hell from just watching this little snippet here, Joe. I mean, it's just so bad. I'll watch it again here.
All right. Well, hey. Well, while you watch it, there's some questions for James, and here's number one.
Yeah, let's kick in.
Okay, this one's from. There. Yeah, it's from Zentron. Zentron said, speaking of Dungeons and Dragons, would you ever do a Dungeons and Dragons crossover with Masters of the Universe?
In what sense? Like, I'm trying to imagine what, an animated cartoon? He didn't specify. I'm assuming he meant animated cartoon, but hell, if he didn't, maybe he could have meant that, or a comic form. Is that something you would like to do in any kind of form? I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I loved the Dungeons and Dragons cartoons. A lot of my all-time favorites. I worked on the DVDs many years ago. It was a lot of fun, and like I said, one of my favorite cartoons. Lots of great Japanese animation by Toei. But in terms of a crossover, I can't really. Maybe it's my lack of imagination. I can't really see where the crossover would work. I think Dungeons and Dragons. Maybe you could say picture that dungeon master maybe opens a portal for some reason, needs help from another dimension, and you could picture them going over into the world of Eternia, but Venger follows along, and maybe Venger would have to team up at one point with Skeletor, but of course want to overthrow him, maybe some crazy insane thing like that.
Joe, this is why you're not in charge of writing stories and crossovers here.
I would say my only thing I would not have is I wouldn't have the kids leave the realm, because the whole point of them being on the realm is they're always going to be stranded there, like purgatory or whatever you want to call it. So I'd have the Eternian characters come to the realm, because I think that would be
that makes more sense to have Skeletor follow He-Man there. He-Man gets, I don't know, after something,
or start some kind of incantation with evil in spell and open up. What was Dungeon Master's little mate with was he like Shadow Demon? I think it was Shadow Demon. And somehow
the one for Venger? Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. That's what I mean. And that's what sucked, is when the kids got home, and remember Venger followed them, but then threatened their world unless they came back. And damn it, they had to come back. And to know that they had that last episode written out but didn't animate it, like, God damn, that's what you should do. You and Deucin, go ahead and animate the last fucking episode of Dungeons & Dragons that we should have got.
That's what I was going to say. Sorry, I'm popping in here. I was like, if you're going to do anything, just give it a proper ending. That way Joe can finally shut the hell up.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. God damn it. They should have finally got home, but yeah, that would have been great. But all right, well, here's another one for you, James. Sportimus said, will James be attending PowerCon this year?
Oh yeah, I mean, I have to, otherwise the Return of Faker doesn't get shown. It's that simple. Okay. I've been to PowerCon every PowerCon. Like Bell invites me over and everything as a guest, and sorts me out and everything, gives me a table. Not sure what I'm going to be selling at the table, because it's the thing. I thought, I'll make it a Return of Faker table, so I'll sell stuff from the Return of Faker, like prints and maybe some drawings that I've done, or do some storyboards or something. And then I thought, if I do that before people see the movie, as in that night at PowerCon, if people pick up something, there's a giant spoiler on it that I've ruined. Do you know what I mean? So I thought it'd be very, very.
Well, can't you do a VHS cover print, something like that, and sell that, and not have any spoiler? Because I know you said you were going to do something like that.
Yeah, I mean, we've got like the materials, to be able to do that, because we always wanted to do. I think I said before, like a VHS looking DVD, or even record it to VHS and do a limited release for fun. But I mean, like a print of like a video VHS style could be done. Like that's the thing. I could do prints like that, but I'd love to do more prints. But if I did certain ones, I'd be like, I'm spoiling it now. I'm sure, don't get me wrong, there were ways around it. I'm sure I'd be fine. But I'd hate to say to people, come back to my table on Sunday and I'll have more merchandise now that you've seen it. Here's that giant revealing shot, But so short answer, I'm at PowerCon. I have to be.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that. Now, Willis Wheeler had a question. Now, again, when you answer this question, this is something, like you said, it's your critique, your criticism. This is something to where it wouldn't be bashing, so people wouldn't confuse stuff. This is just an honest question from him. He says, what would you change about the new She-Ra cartoon if you could? Is there anything within that you change? Like I said, that's your critique, your criticism. This isn't.
I think, like, some people know, other people don't. Like, I didn't mind season 1. I haven't seen season 2 yet, which kind of tells you, I guess, would speak volumes to some degree. I'm like, oh, I must watch it, but I haven't yet. I mean, The Return of Faker does take up a lot of time. Also, I was out drinking till 4 a.m. last night, so I'm like, no, there's other things to do in my life. I will at some point watch season 2 of She-Ra. I enjoyed season 1. I didn't think it was the most amazing thing. I think the one thing it lacked, as so many shows do, that like the 2002 Mike Young show did as well, they lack the heart. So they can do really new and exciting stories and have, oh, look at the story arcs and do all that. But without that heart and that fantasy, yeah. Oh, okay. The one thing I would change about the new cartoon, from having seen the first season, bring back Secret Identity. I don't understand. Like, I understand. Like you go back, you look at the cinematic Marvel films, and Steve Rogers is Captain America. When I grew up in the comics, Steve Rogers was always, the secret identity of Captain America. I can understand why in the films they were like, we don't need to do that. He's a government agent. It seems pointless, So I didn't mind that. By doing that in She-Ra, removing the ability to do the secret identity, I'm sure they had their reasons. I haven't spoken to anybody about the show or worked on the show. By removing the secret identity, you just lose so many story possibilities, and you lose so many different character things. Like, if everybody knows yes, for all its criticism, in the original show, a door runs off, She-Ra pops in. Of course she's She-Ra. Doesn't work like that, but yeah, she goes off. But what that leads to is characters going, well, where's she gone? And where's she gone? And the villains going, well, we got Adora, and now where's she? You create all these different character interactions and reactions. That's the important part. It gives you so many more possibilities. The other problem, I don't want to go in this. Here's all the other things I would change. But another thing I wasn't keen on. Didn't like the lack of superhero. I wasn't keen on the fact that She-Ra didn't feel like her own character. She just felt, my friend Lee in America put it best. He said she feels like a computer projected image, like a hologram, like Jem. If you remember, like in the 80s, even Jem felt different. The whole point of
she just feels like the same character with a different outfit, basically. It's just the same character, different outfit. There's not even a sign of really super amazing strength. I understand that. So much to where the part that irritates me is, okay, now everybody knows. This is a point I'll just bring up just really quickly, but I appreciate everything what you just said, because that's respectful of what you said. But is when they would address She-Ra, when she's She-Ra, like characters like Bo are calling her Adora. It annoys me. It's like, okay, what's the sense of this new character? If, okay, we're not going to even call her this new character who she's supposed to be. Let's still call her Adora.
I think I saw a trailer for season 2 a couple of weeks ago, and Bo posted Adora, and I was like, oh man, it's the other thing I would change, and this would probably be the last thing, is I really didn't like the use of Earth dialogue.
Modern vernacular.
Modern vernacular. There you go. You're right. Yeah. When the one that got me, I mean, it was in the first trailer we saw when She-Ra was like, Adora was like, let's
do this.
It wasn't that wasn't too bad. It's like, you can throw that in, that's fine. It was when there was an episode where Glimmer said something about, I can't remember the exact line, but these were the word was in there where she was like, all I ever do is screw up or something, or I don't want to be a screw up in front of my mother. I was like, screw up? That's too.
I know what you mean.
Well, I hate it when she said she's grounded. Like, who the hell would say they're grounded? Like on a fantasy planet? Like that's Earth terminology.
Agreed, but I think we kind of got that thing to a degree in the Filmation series where Man-at-Arms would punish Orko, and there was that. I don't know if you have to clean your room for a month, and I know they were very Earth-based setups, if you know what I mean, without using
that makes sense. But I felt like the dialogue, like clean your room, I feel like you can get it because it's clean your room, as opposed to grounded is slang. It's like, you know, you can't. It's like saying, "Oh, cool, man." Like when, you know, I just kind of felt like Adam's portrayal in NYP was very earth based. I did not like that. Yeah, I just,
because the beauty for me of the Filmation cartoons and even other fantasy shows is you want it to feel, well, one, you want, I mean, they've done very good in this, I think. What I really like about the show is they've made it feel like an alien world. That's the first thing you want to do is when you make a cartoon about another world. The problem with Mike Young's show, obviously you have Snake Mountain stuff, but Evergreen Forest was just a forest with yellow sky.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I want the Evergreen Forest to be winding trees and twisted branches, or like the fertile plains, which were, you know, very lush and great. And you want that kind of thing. You want that environment. And so I think they've done a really good job in the She-Ra show. Is it feels like an alien world. And, you know, positive things about She-Ra show, because I don't want to crap on it completely. I do like. I'm not saying it's better than the old or anything like that. I'm saying I do like the character interactions between Adora, Glimmer, and Bo. Yes, it was what it was, but I did like the way that they carried over. The best thing about that show, I thought, was Catra as a character. I thought Catra was probably the strongest character. Nothing like the original Catra, but she at least had a start, middle, and an end. I was like, okay, this is a progressive story, as in it progresses. But yeah, I mean, I just came away going, it's not for me, and that's fine. You know, every cartoon doesn't have to be, but I would have liked to have seen something. The thing I said to Doosan, I think a few people have echoed this, not that I made it the official statement, but I don't see why it had to be a cartoon about She-Ra. It could have been, you know, Wonder Girl and the Defender of pre-something, whatever the planet. It doesn't have to be a She-Ra cartoon. The only reason, and I don't have a problem with it. I understand why they did it. It's just like, you didn't have to, which is they're using the brand She-Ra to piggyback off of. It's like, we'll call it She-Ra, therefore, yeah, I just think it's one of those things. I don't think it's a bad show. I like many aspects about it, but I'd say the Mike Young show grabbed me more because that was more what I was used to. Maybe it is a familiarity thing, but the Mike Young was at least going Prince Adam, He-Man, Skeletor. Wasn't too keen on Kelder.
The essentials are still there. You don't feel like it's drastically changed. Yeah.
Like I said, the Mike Young show lacked heart, but what it lacked in heart, it made up for action. There was a lot of great action in the Mike Young show. But yeah, it's the new show is what it is.
Like I said, you gave your points. You didn't disrespect anything. You gave honest opinions, and you said your positives as well. So
I hope it finds an audience and people enjoy it, because the truth of the matter is, and I think Val said this before, but there is truth in the statement that if this show does well, then what you will hopefully see is Mattel, not necessarily Mattel, because I think this is very much not their decision in terms of this new She-Ra show, but you will see more them going, well, if we're making money out of this, why don't we, like, let's go back and make some money off of the original stuff. So I'm not going to say I know this for a fact, but I did hear rumors they were looking into kind of branding the original She-Ra as like a She-Ra in itself. So you'd have the new She-Ra, or the kids are getting now, almost like the collector's She-Ra and the collector's He-Man. So they would still be trying to do stuff for the original stuff, and whether that be Return of Faker being made official or new stuff. Like you can look at the for example, the little golden books they're doing, right? Doing the He-Man one.
Yeah.
What are they based on? Total Filmation. Or, you know, I mean, the He-Man one visually and the She one visually, very Filmation. Like I think Castle Grayskull looks like it was one of the, I think maybe the 2002 version, I forget. But yeah, in terms of that, that's where they've gone, well, okay, we could do a little golden book based on the new She-Ra, but why don't we head back and pull from the past and do this? So they're still allowing creators to do that, and I think they're still encouraging that. I think Val's been dropping hints that maybe something's going to happen at San Diego Comic-Con, and maybe it's something we're going to be like, Oh well. So I don't know. I have no idea what that is, but yeah, I mean.
Well, we'll see how it goes. Definitely,
Yeah.
we will. And but thank you for that. And also, Sportimus said it was nice meeting you at PowerCon in 2018. So yeah, it's somebody that met you here in the chat room. Let me scroll down a little. I got to try to do this slowly because there was I think a lot that started popping up, and I don't want to pass that. Let me see. Oh, gosh, sorry about that. Hold on a second. When will the? Oh, never mind. We know that because Adam Gabbert was late to the chat room. He was wondering when the Return of Faker was going to be shown, but we got that. But thank you for that, Adam. Let me. God, James. Okay, Adam did have one. So James, do you have a favorite Masters of the Universe male and female character for the classics line?
Oh, as in the toy line, the classics.
Yeah, the toy line.
Oh man. That's tricky because there's so many. I don't know. I did like I loved, even though I didn't own them, I loved the figure for Scorpia. I thought the Scorpia figure was phenomenal. When I never owned it. I remember because at that point Mattel had stopped sending me free toys because I think they realized I wasn't Pixel Dan. They're like, this guy isn't reviewing things. And I'm like, I'm not.
Okay.
I just like owning them. I mean, they were great. It was a great toy line at the height of its popularity, but I didn't own Scorpio, but I love that figure. It was so detailed and intricate. In terms of, I still think you can't beat Trapjaw as a character. I've always loved his design, and that classics Trapjaw is so awesome. I'm looking at it on my shelf because I sold a lot of my classics toy line many years ago, and the only ones I kept were, as I always call them, the Diamond Ray crew. So like Beastman, Merman, Evelyn, Triclops, and Trapjaw. I kept Battleground Evelyn because she had the 2002 color scheme, and she looked really good next to the yellow-skinned Evelyn. But yeah, I think Trapjaw probably my favorite classics male, and I'd say Scorpio, even though I didn't own her, was such a good.
She's awesome, especially her face is very striking. It's very.
Yeah, they got the whole Filmation look really well. I'm looking on your shelf behind you to see if I can see it in the classics.
Oh, she's right here. She's right there. She actually broke in half. I don't know how the hell it happened.
Broke in half.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. See, I don't know how it happened, but her torso just severed one day.
Oh crap!
So, but just another close up how striking that face is.
Yeah, look at that, man. That's brilliant.
Yeah. So I had her in a more prominent spot because I liked the character a lot, but because of what happened.
Tyler.
Yeah.
Can I see your torso, both parts of the broken part, and put them up to the camera and talk? I want to see both ends of that.
I gotta make sure I pluck her legs out without knocking the whole horde down.
So it's like boom. Like, thanks, Joe. You just broke 8 more figures, you prick.
Hang on.
Wouldn't that suck? Oh God, I hope I don't cause a disaster. It's just I want to see if I can.
Gonna fall over here.
Sorry.
Shit, because I got her tail hooked on.
Don't do it. Well, never mind.
I got it.
Okay, and then talk so I could see up close.
All right. Well, like I said, the interior right there, it just severed. It didn't fall off the shelf. I don't know how it happened. I was cleaning the shelf one day. I picked her up and it just fell apart. So.
All right, and then the other part. Let me see her other end where it was broke on the other part of her body.
Yeah, it's just severed.
Well, if you want, you could send her to me, and I can at least make it to where she will stay together. I can fix that for you. Now I'd do that for free.
You sure there wouldn't be no hidden charge or?
Joe, wait. Joe said he would do that.
Free? I used the F word. I've never said free in my life.
Yeah.
So this is for me.
The only F word that Joe never uses.
Like, I guess I could send Joe like a box of protein bars because I'm not sending some junk food shit.
You know? Yeah, you could. Yes,
he wouldn't eat that though. He would just like throw that in the dumpster and then like dig for other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, you can send it to me, Tyler. I'll fix her up for you.
All right. I'll have to do that because I love this figure a lot. She's definitely the best looking female of the whole horde. So I'll make it to where she could stay together and hopefully pose. I will. Yeah, I'll fix her up for you. Okay. Well, feel free to send like a customized Black Star while you're at it.
Hey, there you go. Let's see. Sportimus said, James, will you be? Oh, I don't know if he meant. I don't think he means at PowerCon. Maybe he just means in general. But says, will you do drawings for people of Masters of the Universe characters? So I guess basically saying is, do you do commissions? Do you do drawings? If somebody said, hey,
I don't advertise that I do, but like when I've been at conventions, I draw stuff for people, and Yeah, I'm always happy to. I can draw with some relative competence. I wouldn't say I'm I'm like an Emiliano Santalucia or anything like that, but I can whip up something. Yeah, just message me on Facebook or something.
Okay. All right. Well, that sounds cool. Well, thank you for that, Sportimus, and thank you for that, James. Grim said, he said, James, show your Rocky Dennis look. Is there something that you do that he knows? What's he talking about?
No, that's in reference to me because they were like, turn the camera on because I guess he thinks I look like Rocky Dennis.
What the hell?
What? Turn on your camera. You don't look like Rocky Dennis. Put this on. Okay, join us now, Nathan.
Wouldn't it be great though if I had like the mask from Mask?
Maybe it's because your curly hair. Because Rocky Dennis has curly hair.
I don't know.
That's really about it.
It's probably my big forehead. That's fine. I'm all right with it. I look at pictures when I was a kid and I was like, yeah, damn, you got a big forehead. So it makes sense. It's fine. I want to say too, I appreciate James and drinking till 4 a.m. Cheers to you, sir.
Oh no, it was a heavy night. My friend's 30th, even though I'm 42. I've got a lot of young friends for some reason, and it started at 8 in the evening, and we drank until 3 a.m. and then I got home at 5 a.m. So and then I got home at 5 a.m. and had like a McDonald's on my way home, as you do.
Yeah, that's what
McDonald's. He's the man. There you go. I love food too.
Joe, like it's one of the few things that would be open at this time.
Exactly. Yeah, I've got a 24-hour one, like about a 7-minute walk from my house. I was just like, oh, this will do. And I have a weird superpower because I didn't start drinking alcohol till I was 31. So before then, I'd go out and just always be. I always say doing Coke, and everybody thinks, "Oh my God!" And I was like, "No, Coca-Cola." And I worked in an industry where I did see a lot of cocaine, so I was like, "No, I'm good. I went to parties and it was all on the table. I'm like, no, I'm not that person. So I worked in the industry, but I would always be the guy that would be sober the entire night, but the guy who would be like, "Let's go to karaoke, let's dance, let's do this, let's do that." So I was a really bad influence. And then I got to 31. I was like, one of my friends, she was like, try cider. I was like, really? I was like, I don't like any alcohol. It always tastes foul. She's like, no, cider's good. It's got like a sweet taste to it. No. I was like, oh, this is really nice. And we spent the rest of the night drinking. I was like, oh, wow. Okay, that's what that is. So because I started drinking so late, I can mix my drinks like crazy. So last night I was doing Prosecco, like wine, cocktails. I had a beer. Just mix it up. Gin and tonic is my current drink of choice. Mix it up, and then I wake up with no hangover. I don't do hangovers, which really people hate because I'm like, oh, what are we doing now? And it was like, oh. That's my weird superpower. It's like I don't get hangovers for some reason.
All right, well, I will have to find a way to drink together sometime.
Hey, there you go.
Well, hopefully we can make it out to PowerCon. If not this year, definitely next year. And
I think Val said 2020 he wants to make 2020 like the big one, which kind of sucks because I was like, oh man, the Return of Faker should be at the big one, but I could always show it again. Have like a second viewing.
Or do like a special edition, incorporate Lizard Man into this one scene here.
There you go. Yeah, we bring Lizard Man into it. Clamp Champ, get Gwildor in there as well.
Yeah. Oh,
there you go. All of them, all three of them in there, just standing there waving at the camera,
just hanging out. Yeah. Oh, that would be. Oh, yeah. I am so there. I'll buy my ticket right now, Val.
All right, well, James, we got one more question for you because I was gonna say, man, this has been our longest episode ever, and we got one.
Joe's got to get to McDonald's.
That's right. You got me all hungry. All this food. Willis Wheeler said, "What '80s toy line has had the best luck staying in the stores in your eyes over the years?"
Oh, Transformers, without hesitation. Transformers. That at least in the UK, because I think in America, you guys, I think you had Transformers up until like Headmasters, and maybe there was all the kind of Action Masters and Target Masters and all that crap. But when the toy line ended in America, and then you got it rebooted as
Beast Wars.
No, before Beast Wars, they rebranded the original one, Transformers Generation 2.
Oh, okay, see, that's why I always associate 1 and 2. It's kind of running together, and then when Beast Wars comes along, that's when that's in my mind. Yeah.
Excuse me, but no, there was a delay of about 3 or 4 years in between the end of Transformers like Headmasters on the toy shelf. So all those toys associated with that and Generation 2 where they suddenly put, they gave all the bright colours and Megatron was a tank. Remember that?
Yeah.
That was when the tank Megatron came. But in the UK, in between those years, they started re-releasing the original Transformers toys in gold boxes and calling them like Transformers Classics. So in the UK, I think it's feasible. I might be wrong, but I don't think so. That Transformers has, and I mean, even across the world, Transformers has never really been off the toy shelf since 1984.
Yeah.
It's always been a presence. Those god-awful movies are what they are, but they kept it going. Like they made Hasbro billions of dollars, whilst they are atrocious. I was telling someone the other day about it. They were talking about something about Transformers. I said, "Oh God," I said, "You don't want to see the film." I remember when I realised, "Oh my God, the Constructicons—they're going to turn into Devastator," and the first thing you see is just a pair of giant wrecking balls as tentacles, and it was just like, "What the hell?" So that was the last Transformers movie I saw. I was like, "Yeah, I don't need to see any more of these." But that toy line and they've made so many cartoons. I'm not saying they're all particularly good, but they've kept it going. So I think it would be that, and then Ninja Turtles. Those two brands just clicked, and because I think, especially Transformers, because they're kind of robots and Ninja Turtles. I mean, He-Man as well. They're all timeless, but for some reason, those two brands have just gone from generation to generation.
I just wish Mattel had that mentality. Like with Transformers, this one doesn't work, try this one. And with Playmates, try this version of Turtles. Like with He-Man, they're just, that one stunk, so we ain't going to go back and do that again. The lack of faith in something that made so much money at one point. But
that's the thing. Like I look at something like Turtles, and I love the original series. I'm not too keen on when they went to like season 4 and 5 and when Raphael meets the Music Man or whatever, all this bullshit. I was like, no, keep me the first 3 seasons.
We're in the same boat. All of us are.
Yeah, when the Technodrome's under the earth, that's where it's the last good season, and then after that, I'm like, I'm good. But with Turtles, so I look at that and I love that. And the 2002 Turtles was a really good show from what I saw. I didn't see all of it. Really good show. Ever since then, the Turtles, I'm like, I've no interest in this cartoon or toy line or brand. It's probably, if we're talking about the success of toy lines, it should be the same with She-Ra. We should probably be seeing cartoons and toy lines that were like, nah, this isn't for us because we've still got the original Turtles, the original Transformers, the original He-Man and She-Ra. So that's why I guess I'm not too fussed when you get all these new versions. I don't agree with them, but if it keeps it going, if only we could have had the success that Transformers and Ninja Turtles get, that would have been nice. But for some reason, He-Man and She-Ra. But at the same time, I love telling people, as I always say, even with the He-Man 2002 cartoon, I always say, my He-Man and She-Ra happened in the 80s. And I'm so thankful for that. I got this great cartoon, amazing toy line that's, to this day, you still discover stuff about the cartoon, about like they released that as a toy. Joe's always popping up with photos of stuff. You're like, they made that? All those bubble bath things you own? Are they bubble bath? Those things, it's like, okay, He-Man and Skeletor. Yeah, duh. Of course they made those. But then you pop up with all these other ones. It's like, what? They made those?
Yeah. Yeah, they made so many bits of merchandise and crazy comics. Speaking of one quick one from Spike's, James, how is the animation going on yours and Grimbot's new adaptation of the Chinese Masters comics?
Oh my God! When we talked earlier about doing the Masters of Space, I did think, wouldn't it be great to turn that like Zodak in his car with?
My God!
Plundor.
I mean, those other Chinese comics, you could tell they basically were trying to draw Filmation into this comic, but this is one unique one. It's like, what in the hell is going on? Everybody's got this insane design. We don't know what's happening, but that is the craziest thing.
Every time Spike posts a panel from it, it just gets more and more absurd.
Yeah.
There's nothing that can surprise us now. Like my favorite one was one of the ones where it's like a shot of Hordak from far away with his like arm cannon raised. Okay, and he goes, who do you think this is? Like, it's clearly Hordak. And then in the close-up, he's the general with like the moustaches. What the hell is this?
That was some ugly stuff. God, because you couldn't tell, but
Zodak, Orko, and Cringer in the car.
That's just gold.
That's such an iconic image because it's so fucking absurd. So
it is.
I couldn't even, if you gave me all the best drugs in the world, like come up with something. They'd be like, okay, that would be so far remote. I wouldn't be able to do that because that is some.
I hope all of this stuff finds its way into the new film. That's what I want.
Yes. Oh my God. If we got Plunder in a new live action movie, that'd be great.
Jesus Christ. Well, James, before we wrap it up, and I tell everybody what to do, why don't you tell everybody that's listening, live right now or eventually later, where they can go, where they, can contact you, and if you got anything going on.
Let me think. So yeah, currently working on The Return of Faker. What else? I haven't got any books I'm working on, I don't think. But yeah, you can find me these days. I tend to frequent Instagram more than anywhere, so I'm at Cereal Geek, as in breakfast cereal, Cereal Geek 77 on Instagram, because someone else took Cereal Geek. Damn them. So I'm at Cereal Geek 77 on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, James Eatock. All my stuff's public posts, so when people go, "Oh, can you friend request me?" I'm like, "You can see all my stuff anyway." Where else? I've got a website which is hemanshirashop.com, which I need to pimp more. I haven't promoted that in a long time. Yeah, that's about it, really.
Nathan, you can add that on the.
We'll do. I'm just admiring things that have happened and transpired in the chat tonight. It's been
yeah. I wanted to acknowledge. Salik goes live in the chat room. Said, "Masters of the Universe is for nerds."
Man,
yeah, you got it.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, you nailed it, man. Hot damn, you
Agreed. You got it. I am just the. Yep, you got it. So, but now I wanted to say we appreciate everybody that was listening live. Hope you enjoyed this episode. For anybody new to the channel, make sure you like, subscribe, share, and ring that bell so you always get notified when we go live. James, it was an honor again. We got to have you back again, especially when Return to Faker comes on and we finally premiere that sucker. Maybe in the the week after that. Whenever you have time, you have to come back on and talk about that and anything else.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, no doubt.
All right. So, okay, guys. So until next time, have a powerful day.
Well, it certainly took you long enough to get here. No thanks to your bad magic.
James, you got that one?
I know what it is. Guys, I know.
Don't say that.
I know this one. This is It Takes Two with Steve Guttenberg and the Olsen twins.
That damn thing.
Cut there.
Christ. James, do you have a clue what he's talking about?
No thanks to your bad magic. It's definitely a Skeletor line. No thanks to your bad magic. Is it? Oh, I can't. That one's escaping me.
It's two lines. It certainly took you long enough to get here. No thanks to your bad magic.
Oh no, you're right. Yeah. Oh no, that's gonna kill me if I don't get it. That's really on the tip of my tongue.
Can I stump the Eatock?
Wait.
This would be terrible because don't get stumped, James. You can't have this shit happen live.
I could claim top of the mountain in terms of He-Man trivia here. If I stump James here live on the podcast for everybody,
you do become the top of the mountain.
I at least like to think I could go a good 1-on-2 handicap match with James and Deuce, and I would lose, but gracefully. That guy's got talent.
What is it? It certainly took you long enough to get here. No thanks to your bad magic. I can hear the delivery and I can hear the pacing of it. My brain's just not connecting. I've got too much Return of Faker dialogue up there now. If it's not the Return of Faker, I don't know anymore. No thanks to your bad magic. Oh, Asrog Spydra. Return of Orko's
uncle. God, man. I really thought
you're not the top of the mountain. Suck it, Tyler. Suck it.
I had 3 quotes in that episode. I'm gonna throw one at him just to see if does he know that episode as much as I know it.
I was just like, I could hear Skeletor's voice, but yeah. Oh wow. Okay,
that is oddly satisfying and a perfect way to end the show.
Hey, if it plugs that episode even more, then great. I will sacrifice, my championship belt to James. There.
You never had one. James is the champion.
I made my own belt. Looks like the hardcore title. It's a piece of shit.
Oh, great. Great.
Taped on it.
Yeah, you're like Taz. You're like, yeah, I can't do this. So I got to make my own belt.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you very much, guys.